Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Data Sim live stream. Today it's 9th of April 2026. It's 35 minutes past 7 in the evening. We're back in XP12 with the excellent Zibo mod 737 for some flying in the South Pacific, an area we've barely explored in any previous live stream. Bear with me whilst I get my geography right for this area. We are currently in Nouméa, New Caledonia, which is basically a French territory in the middle of the South Pacific. Today we'll be flying to the country of Vanuatu, to the island of Ifati, to Port Vila. We're live time, live weather. The sun is rising on the 10th of April here in the South Pacific. And in the Zibo mod 737, we're going to be doing 2 sections between these two countries and islands, flights of about 1 hour each way. And not only that, the approach into our first destination, Port Vila, has a very challenging approach. It's a 90-degree offset circle to land where we have to make a sharp turn onto about a 1 mile final. It's the Samos of the Southern Pacific, probably the most difficult instrument approach that can be flown. This destination was requested by one of the members who actually requested a particular approach, but it's actually been sort of removed from service now, so we thought we'd fly this alternative approach indeed. We have X-Plane map enhancement up and running. It's looking very nice indeed. And we haven't flown the Zibo mod publicly for a very long time. There haven't been any updates to the mod since I last streamed it to the members a couple of weeks ago. So there's a few issues with pitch when bugging up and things like that. But otherwise, it's running very nicely indeed. Anyway, let's zoom on in towards the aircraft to see who we have in chat today. We have 2 tons. Hope you're doing well. Flying in the future, we are. It is the 10th of April. I don't know what the local time is here. I have my app here. It's 5:37 in the morning here in New Caledonia. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Good afternoon to you, I should say. Greg Scott's here. Ruben Schwartz, very good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. Thank you indeed for popping in. Steve M is here as well. I've nailed it. I know I managed to remember all the countries off by heart. I don't know how. Just because it's on a piece of paper in front of me. Who else is here? Brendan McCreet. Andy McCall's here as well. Hope you're doing well. Good day to you. Here's the Zibo mod in the apron, completely cold and dark. We've got tugs driving around here all over the place. Again, this is just a stock scenery airport, looking quite nice indeed. All the correct stand markings, which is good. EJ Woodford, good evening to you. Thank you very much for popping into the stream this evening. So yeah, it should be a little bit of a later stream. I'm on my annual leave at the moment, so we'll be probably wrapping things up at 11 o'clock in the evening, British summertime. So it should be a lovely sunrise as we continue here. Yes, Steve, 5:37. I don't know if we've got anyone from New Caledonia in the stream today. They'll be probably asleep based off the start time today. I think we said hello to everyone. Spitfire RF100, good day to you. Daniel Penalo 1601, thanks for popping in. And Bome AI, why when I get my FMC set up, my AOT is not automatically recognised? Oh, you have to put it in manually. I think certain 737s might be able to automatically detect the temperature, but in ours we have to automatically input that information. Anyway, let's take this opportunity to zoom in towards the cockpit of the aircraft. I am using XP12. I have a brand new overlay, but at the moment it's only working for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. So I will. I'm hoping the developer behind that will add compatibility with XPUI PC in the not too distant future, so we can have the overlay for that, but we're not going to use it today. But if you want all the information about the flight, you can find it in the video description below. Doug209 says, yo, hope you're doing well. Andy says, the accuracy of the default airports is one of the reasons I like XP12, that and the flight characteristics. Absolutely, and it's one of the reasons I still love enjoying this sim as well. Anyway, well, you see me butcher the names of the places where we are, but just to show you where we are geographically in comparison to where you guys might perhaps be living. There we are. We're in the South Pacific, New Caledonia, French territory, heading northeast to the country of Vanuatu, which is basically several islands here, and we're flying to the capital, Port Vila, which is on the island of Ifati here anyway. But yeah, we'll brief it later, but look at this approach. We're going to fly in straight in via Vanto, 90-degree turn, boom, onto the approach. There's far easier approaches to fly. There's an RMP approach, which is slightly offset, a little bit more straight in, but why not do the most challenging approach available? Could possibly go wrong, but anyway, there we are. So let's get the show on the road. I could just about see the battery, so we'll pop on the battery as well. It's been the first time in a long time we've had MCP cam up and running, there we are. So I probably might just turn the light on in here because it probably won't focus too well in the dark. And then of course we have yoke cam where I'm sat. Hello everyone. But yeah, I might just turn the light on here. Let me just turn down this lo-fi beats sound effects and music. There we are. So battery on, I need to get the GPU connected. So ground services, GPU connect. There we are, GPU's on the bus, electric hydraulic pumps are on, landing gear levers down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green lights, we then check the aircraft. Documentary, who you calling Fatty? if Fatty, I need someone to get the pronunciation of that correct, let me know once the stream's ongoing. Anyway, fault and fire tests, we'll commence those now. We best turn the dome light on as it is pretty dark here. The illumination of the cockpit and X-plane around dawn dusk is still a bit I'd say broken. It's you'll notice later on the tablet gets really difficult to read, as does the backlighting on the MCP. I can turn that up, but you can see, look, it's still really dim. So I don't know what to do to get that any brighter, but it'll be a little bit more challenging to see later. So battery is on, GPU lighting is done, squibs, fault and fire tests. Wheel well fire, warning overheat light, bell light. Meant to do the fault test first, but there we are. Fault AP detector and hot bastard caution overheat detector. Emergency exit lights armed. Test the attend button. The weather today is very nice en route to departure and arrival. So variable 1 knot forecast. Maybe some showers of rain here early in the morning, but that won't be a factor. And then our destination of Port Vila. Right now they've got a bit of mist and fog around, could be interesting with the RVR requirements for this approach. What do we need? 3,700 metres, fingers crossed doesn't get any better. And then the TAF forecast, it'll be again favouring runway 11 for this approach, some showers of rain, so pretty similar. I think they've had a cyclone or a typhoon recently passed over these islands, so I think we've missed that, thankfully. Perfect. 2 tons, your thrustmaster yoke quadrant due to arrive today. Mount for the throttle arrived yesterday. Very exciting. And what you want to be setting up as soon as possible. I was actually looking at this today. Let me just bring you I've got this clamp here for thrustmaster. It's a little bit too big. I've got this curved desk. I might one year swap it for a straight desk, but it just means my chair, it's really tight to this. I'd like to have a bit more room, but if you've got a straight desk, I think the clamp's a really good investment. Right, overhead panel, test the append button. But yeah, look, we've looked at the weather, no temps to affect us. We can take flight plan fuel. Our reserves are quite high because the alternative is actually to come back here to New Caledonia if we can't get into Port Vila. So that's 3.8 tons for the reserves, but we don't need any additional fuel. So we'll just take even 6.8 tons will be sufficient. So I'll go ahead to the tablet, home, airside services. I've loaded up the little flight plan here. So load FP, we'll just call it 68. And enter, activate. There we are. So that's going to start the boarding process, the catering, cleaning. If I go outside, you'll see the stairs are extending and the doors will open momentarily. I think I have to do certain actions maybe to get it started. Anyway, flaps are up, which match the indicated position. Do a quick take config warning checked. Cargo fire warning test, forward aft discharge fire warning bells. It's been good practice because I'm going back flying next week. I've actually only flown 5 times this year because I've been so busy in the sim at work doing checks and training. When I go back next week, I've got my own line check, and then I've got a full week of flying. I'm actually really looking forward to it. So this is really good practice to come back into the 7.3 actually. So flight recorders checked, stall warning test. Not quite been 4 minutes since we've had AC power, so we'll do that later. Mac airspeed warning test. IRS to nav. We're in the southern hemisphere here, quite close to the equator, so 6 minutes for the alignment to be complete. Circuit breakers are in, and we check the tech log, aircraft's fully serviceable, and I'm going to close the door because the cleaners are very loud. There we are. Own line check or online check? My own line check. NWWW. Now what's quite funny, I've got my own line check, and then the following day I'm performing a line check on another cruise, so there you go. Hopefully I'll pass my own line check. Right, HMS Daring, that's really not a lot of flying. Is that typical for TRI, TRE? In the winter months, a little less flying because the summer schedule's always busier. So on average in the year, 300 to 400 hours I'd say I do. It's going to shoot up now. Spring's arrived in the UK, but yeah, typically in the winter, a lot less. I think I did 300 hours last year, but I'll be on track to do that. So yeah, I've got in April, end of April, moving on to May, something like 100 hours in a 6-week period. So yeah, I'm going to be busy flying again. But yeah, TRI is my primary role. Right, safety inspection's complete. There's no ATC here at all in Fiji, as we could expect, and we'll just double check that METAR one more time. So here, weather. We've got METAR QH1010, which I'll preset here, and the MFRA, we'll put that as 1080 feet set, and variable 1 knot 10k. I have, oh no, I thought I said A300, no, 4,300 meters of visibility. Right, let's now do that. Oxygen is done. Light test will check as well. Whilst Jim is doing the light test check and scanning all of the displays, I'll load up New Sky, which I was in the process of doing at the start of the stream. I just ran out of time, so New Sky's coming up here. So Alpaca 1 November Charlie. What on earth are the ICAO codes for these airports? Victor, November Whiskey Whiskey Whiskey, and November Victor Victor Victor. So November Whiskey Whiskey Whiskey, November Victor Victor Victor. There we are. Boeing 738. The mainstay of Alpaca Airways. Departure should be okay for 1900 Zulu. And 1 hour 5 minutes block time. Book flight. Full load of passengers, of course. Start flight, of course. There we are. So New Sky's up and running. Light test. Well done, Jim. I presume you've checked all the bulbs. Thank you very much. And let's now go into the flight management computer. So FMC, latest AIRAC is installed. Already wants me to insert my position. So we are in, again, this gnarly ICAO code. November Whiskey Whiskey Whiskey. There we are. And GPS left coordinates going in. And we'll fetch the flight plan from ACARS. New overlay to debut on another stream. Yes, it will have to be Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. I see Indie Builds have released their much needed update for the L1011, which fixes a lot of the issues that users have experienced upon release, including myself. So I might take a look at that with the new overlay. It's looking very nice.
Flight deck fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
In fact, I can show you guys. Hey, what's happened here? I can actually show it to you very briefly. I think if I do that, there you go. So here's the overlay. It won't work because it's only paired with Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. So there's no way of XP12 is unable to communicate with this overlay yet. But yeah, that's the overlay moving forward. What do you think, guys? Very tidy, very neat. It's got my blue and white colours. It's going to be fully interactive with live data, and not too sort of impeding on the top there as well. So yeah, very much looking forward to using that in the future in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, and hopefully XP12 as well. But there we are. I will close that. It took me and the developer about 2 hours to get that installed onto Streamlabs. It's a lot of work to make sure it interacts correctly and looks and displayed there. So I've permanently saved it, and it won't. So I don't hopefully accidentally delete it. Right, that's all in now. Activate, execute, departure, runway 11. It will be the Lima Tango Oscar 3 Echo, or Tututa. It's called Tututa 3 Echo departure. And the arrival, we're going to do a straight in on this VOR DME NDB Alpha approach. What a word, with no transition. There we are, legs closed. Vanto is the termination point. Yeah, I think the routing's all in. Let it Vanto, Foxtrot 025, Mike Alpha 025. It's a really cool approach. So looking forward to show you guys not what to do. I did a couple of practices earlier. It's quite hard. Right, and then let's do this. Performance 60.1. 0 fuel weight is correct. We've got all our passengers on board. Reserves then very high, 3.8 to come back here if we can't get into Porto Villa. Cost index 30. Cruising at flight level 290, and executes. The top of climb wind is 234 at 56, and I don't know why we discussed this the last few times we've flown the Zibo. There must be some 737s where you put the actual outside air temperature at your cruise level in. We have all our maxes and 800s saying the ISO deviation here wants you to put the actual temperature, which is like how the PMDG is. So I don't know why that got changed, but look, we can put it in anyway. Temperature at top of climb is -27, so let's put it in. -27. There we are, execute. Right, performance. We're going to backtrack the active runway. So here's the airport. We're on the terminal. We're going to enter via Bravo. Backtrack runway 11, full length for departure. And let's do the performance for that runway. So I'll bring that up on the side here for you guys. Just bring up Chrome. There we go. So takeoff. Fetch the weather. Full length. Weights in. Winds in. Will enable improved climb and assumed temperature. So there we are, flap 5, full takeoff thrust with an assumed temperature of 54, takeoff, flap 5, CG is in, 21%, 5.3 units, there we are, that's set, and the V speed, we've gone with increased speed for improved climb, so I'll go with the OPT ones. This will provide better climb performance in the event of an engine failure, so 146, 147, 154. There's a lot of terrain on this SID. You actually turn away from the terrain first to climb out over the sea, but then you turn back once you've gained some height. The FMC auto-populating gross weight and zero fuel weight, is that a real jet thing? No, you have to put that in manually. We do. Again, there might be some operators that have data link available, but we have to put it in manually every time. Right, that's set, 154 going up on the MCP. Perfect. Let's look at the overhead panel. Yaw dampers on. Nav transfer display switch is normal auto. Fuel. 4 pumps. Cross feed bright. Dim bright. And off. That's all configured and set. Start the APU. See the sun's beginning to rise. Very nice. Fueling's complete. Cabin is secure. Window heat on. Propane off at this stage. Voice recorder should be on, trim air on, packs auto, that's configured and set for the cruise, that should be set to steady. Perfect, MCP cab then, oh yeah, I've got a bit of paper blocking the view, there you are. So flight directors, they're already on, they should be off, but there we are. Master's on my side, we'll go straight up to our cruise level. You can see, unlike the PMDG, you have to wind this a lot more, so sometimes for big changes I actually sort of stick it on the MCP here, but look, we'll go straight to the cruise, 290. The runway QDM here for runway 11 is 108, so we'll just set the courses heading bug as well to 108. Happy days, that's all configured and set. Auto brake RTO, reset fuel flow. FMC legs, and check the rudder and on trim. Check that, no, we've already done that. Perfect. Happy days. Turn up the lighting there. Cool, so briefings, setup's complete. Let's now have a look at the SID. We've already briefed the taxi. So runway 11 departures. It's quite a wiggly one for us. We're flying the Tontuta 3 Echo. It's basically straight ahead on runway track 109. It says 2 here, it is 2.9, right turn, and then we keep going out here until 3,500 feet above, and then we do a right turn 180 degrees over the VOR, Lima Tango Oscar, and then en route, which for us is going to be the waypoint at Nipog, all the way over here. This is the correct routing as to real life, so it's a bit of a long track after Lima Tango Oscar. So nav aid wise, we can tune up the VOR, which is 12.9, just currently on standby. And then I could put the inbound course 019 as well, so I'll put that on Jim's side, 019. Okay, dokie. I think we're in business, guys. Maximum turn speed, yeah, I'll probably put 220 knots or less by the time I get to Lima Tango Oscar. 7,000 feet or above as well. You need to be at Lima Tango Oscar, which I think it confirms. Yeah, there you are. So across the VOR, at above 7,000 feet, because the MSA here, look, is 6,600 to the east, so you need to keep climbing. Happy days. What a quick setup. It's nice when you're back into something familiar. You've flying lots of different aeroplanes recently. Right, all good. AP on the bus, so we can disconnect the ground power. And guys, full setup complete. We can push back, get ready to push back 5 minutes ahead of schedule. Well, by the time we got everything connected, it's going to be
ground
probably
to
on
cockpit.
time.
Tow is driving up.
Awesome.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
There we are. Tug driving in the grass. Perfect. Steve, personally, I turn the LEDs down on the wing control panel, especially evenings. They are way too bright on the defaults. Yeah, they are quite bright. I mean, I can actually, because it's fully configured here with the main panel light. Oh no, I see the brightness doesn't actually change though. It should do. Yeah, I think I'll look at the SimApp Pro and see if we can change the lighting. I'm okay at setting up a 7.3, Steve. But you can see here with the lighting now, at sunrise, it sort of just gets a little broken. It's looking very nice though. Great. I'm loving.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
I'm loving X-Plane map enhancement. It just makes it so much easier to set up a stream in X-Plane. I don't have to download any ortho. And it looks like someone's touched this airport with a little bit of editing. Looks really nice with the palm trees, all the correct stands and markings. Very, very nice indeed. I am on VATSIM. I don't think we'll get too many people join, but if you do wish to join me on the sector or the return sector, feel free to do so. Although the stands are quite limiting. Alright. Tug's almost connected. Happy days. Good day, Simba UK. Hope you're doing well. Alright, being lifted up. I don't think this apron's entirely flat. No, you can sort of see it here. It's a bit of a slant. Bit of a slant. We'll accept it.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Oh, fair enough. Cabin secure. Good morning, Cloudbound Sim. Polymoog says, hello, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Has he told me to release the parking brake yet? Or did I... No, I don't think he has. Okay. Might do that. Shall I release the parking brake? I never heard him say release it. I've released it. No, he's not ready. What do they need? What does he want? Change pushback?
Route cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
I'll just try it one more time.
So connected and bypass pin
fair
inserted.
enough.
Release parking brake.
No, it's working. Parking brake released.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
3 minutes ahead of schedule. There we are. Yeah, he did get light quick. Well, it was pitch black when we started the stream, and then 25 minutes later, boom. Starting engine 2. Dead 2. What have I forgotten to do? Prat. 2, it's not enough oomph in our little 738 APU to rub packs and start an engine. Hi Cloudbound Sim, what's your company's SOP on engine start? Southwest seems to always use the left one, the Southwest Virtual Airlines at least. We start engine number 2 first. There's not really any... on the ground, when we taxi in on stand, we shut down 2 first because that's where all the sort of ground equipment could be sort of kept. But again, it's just the way we start is 2 and 1. Isolated pack start doesn't really matter either. So yeah, just the way it is. Starter killer, monitoring 2, 2, 4, 6, 3, 2 stable, starting 1. Something very special at Expo, I don't know. It's always feels like home. Beautiful. Max motoring, fuel on. Try and check the spark valve if you can. Perfect. It's a bit of a lumpy runway here. Flying Sausage, loving delivery, very nice. Well, if you guys want to join Alpaca Airways and represent, feel free to do so. I don't even know how many virtual pilots we have on New Sky now. 800 plus? It's great. And we're starting some sort of scheduled routes now as well. So, you know, there's always the ability to fly wherever you want, when you want, which is the beauty of New Sky, but you can actually book on and do scheduled flights now. Some new long-haul ones coming June.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Okay, brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Perfect. We'll put the Jennies on and APU off. We'll wait until we see the pin, until we do anything else. Southpaw Paul says, whenever you're in the real thing, do you ever find yourself thinking I could do with the external view now? It'd be quite cool. I've always liked the idea of, you know, being able to see you watch your engine start, perhaps, or have some cameras. But yeah, it sort of doesn't beat doing this thing. But I love the sim, you know, because you do have a lot more different perspectives that you can't have in real life, of course. Andy, have you given up with the audio checklist? Yeah, I think with X-Plane on my old PC and the amount of issues I had and those bugs and things, I'm sort of doing a minimal plug-in sort of philosophy, and a lot of those issues seem to stem with Fly with Lure as well, so I don't know. Is it still working?
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
813 Alpaca Airways pilots. Fantastic. Alright, there's that tug. There he goes. Need to fit the 7 through some truck side mirrors that might affect the fuel burn. There we are, pin scene, fantastic. Let's do the before taxi flow. Stat switches, continuous, probe heat on, anti-ice not required, air conditioning. It's configured and set, flaps to 5. Flight controls, full forward, full back, left, right, rudders, left and right. Lovely, really cool. Like load you and then you'd read the before taxi checklist, which we'll imagine is complete. Right then, taxi, very simply going to be straight ahead, enter active runway, backtrack, and then we'll do a 180 on runway 11 and depart to the southeast. Oops. We're on Unicom 122.8, so I can do some Unicomming. Right, clear left, clear right, and config. Config warning horn. Off we go. Good evening, pitch trim simulations. Thanks for popping in today. Oh yes, I keep forgetting I've got a working EFIS panel now right in front of me. I'll do some Unicomming as well. Where am I? Yeah. Nouméa traffic, Alpaca 1 November Charlie. Entering backtrack, line up runway 11. I saw that, Andy. God, if we're shooting off here, I think it's a little bit downhill. We accelerated quite quickly. So, before entering an active runway, we'd confirm the read back with the first officer and make sure visually we're clear left, clear right. There's a lot of military operations. Oh my God! New Caledonia, the French Air Force have F4 Phantoms again. And an American police car. That's going to be a lovely departure. That's sun rising. Unfortunately, for this approach, which is also runway 11, the sun is going to be right in my face. If it's misty and foggy, it's going to be almost impossible to see the runway. Okay, so when we're backtracking active runway, we can actually accelerate up to 50 knots maximum. I don't usually go that fast, but you can sort of backtrack a little bit more expeditiously. Go a little faster than you would do on a taxiway. Wojtek, hello, X-Plane 1241 freezes after using replay, just wondered if that's a common bug. I will not do a replay because we're doing 2 sectors today. I won't do a replay after the first landing. I only ever do it at the end of streams because I have had issues with it before. But when I ran, I didn't do a full test sector but practiced the approach earlier, I had no issues with the replay. Right, let's do the before takeoff checklist. So config we've checked, flaps 5.5 green light, stab trim is 5.3 units set, takeoff briefing, Pax auto bleeds on, V speed set 46, 47, 54 on the MCP. The departure is going to be the Tutor 3 Echo straight ahead, 2.9 miles, right turn, 3,500 feet, 180 degree right turn over the airfield, climbing all the way to our cruiser flight level 290. Reviewed, cabin secured, checks complete. You guys seeing that? It's like a little bit of shimmering with the lights. It's a little bit uphill here as well. Anyway, imagine we cleared takeoff. Auto throttle L nav on the MCP. There we are. So MCP set, transponder, TARA, strobe lights on, landing lights on, cleared takeoff. Guys, we're 35 minutes into the stream, we're about to take off. That's not bad going. It's cool to fly somewhere else. I don't think we've done any streams in the South Pacific before. Anyway, let's go and have a look at Port Vila. Oh, it's just taxis so nicely. Loads of inertia as you'd have in real life. Alright, timing. Beautiful. Stabilised, set takeoff thrust. Okay, 91.8, takeoff thrust, set indications normal. Check, increase forward pressure. Try and get back on sense line. Up we go. Increase back pressure deadband, lovely.
Positive 3.
Yes, coming up. There, it was down already, up, there we are. I think the switch was in the wrong position.
400.
Now nav. Oh, awesome.
1,000.
1,000 feet. Bugger. Wojtek, thank you very much for your donation. Alerts are muted during the takeoff phase and yoke cam, but I can see your $10. Thank you very much, most kind. And we'll have a great virtual flight. Thanks for popping in today as well. So 2.9 DME, if you look on the bottom right hand side, that's the distance at which it will start commanding the turn. Laterally, programmed in the FMC as well. Above V2 plus 15, flap 1. What on earth is that display on the ND? That shouldn't happen. Speed check flaps 1. Yeah, I was being a bit cautious here. I'm not sure what LNAV's going to come out and put flaps up. Interesting. It should be commanding a turn sort of south until 3,500 feet. I didn't fly this earlier, so let's see what LNAV commands. I might. Well, actually, we're already nearly above 3,500 feet, so hopefully it'll just keep commanding the right turn back to the beacon. There's 3.5. Nah, it's broken, guys. Hold on. Right, let me just route her up to Lima Tango Oscar. Make sure it's a right turn. Yeah, execute. LNAV available. That's what it should have been at 3,500 feet. Okay, flaps up, no lights. VNAV, it'll command 220 knots. I'll get the autopilot in now. Command A. Good, passing 5,000 feet from flight level 290. We'll set standards and do the after takeoff checklist.
40,
that's
30,
yours coming in, Wojtek. Thank you very much, buddy. $10. Cheers, bud.
Thanks a lot. Have great flight.
Thank you very much, buddy. Right, gear off, auto brake off, air conditioning and pressurization 2.2. Climbing. Set. Altimeter standard set, passing 6.6 for flight level 290. After takeoff checks complete. So we're following the SID round the corner. There we are. Obviously, it doesn't fly this exactly as depicted on the map because it is after 3,500 feet, and the only requirement is at Lima Tango Oscar is to be about above 7,000. So we're already up. We've got 4.8 miles. We're about to cross 8,000 feet, so we're well above the restriction. Have a little look outside. The views here are quite spectacular. Just turn that down so I don't deafen you all. Now back over the airport we go. 270-degree turn, basically. Look at that. Oh, guys, look at that. Superb. Very nice. Yeah, turn's complete, so we can actually get rid of that speed restriction, and we're above 7,000 feet, so let's just delete that. There we go. Are you using Explain Map Enhancement Pro? No, just the standard version. What is the local time? Local time is now 6:10 in the morning here in the South Pacific. South Pole or atmosphere and clouds and Explain 12 are superb. Yeah, they look really good. I mean, if we were to look out the wing here, yeah, really nice. It's 2017 Airline of the Year, apparently. Alpaca Airways was. Yeah. Avoid take the stream is taking your mind off bad news. Oh, yes, well. It's all nice watching the rocket, though. I mean, they come back tomorrow, don't they? Landing in the Pacific Ocean, aren't they? Q. Right, passing 111 for flight level 290. Pre-cruise checks, fuel 4 pumps, balanced, lights off. APU's off, pressurization 4.2, set, belts. I'm going to release the crew as well already. Recall, checks complete. ETA, 1954 Zulu. That's about 30 minutes ahead of schedule because it's a straight in approach. I think the flight plan sort of assumes a much longer arrival. It's an American PA, yeah, I think it's just set to that by default. We'll go with it. Just going to open the window in my office, guys. 2 seconds. It's super warm in here. Taxi light's still on. Did I miss that? Sorry. Lost spotted. Beautiful sunrise. You've got it, Matthew. Dennis. Very nice. God, look at that. And that's how bright and annoying it is in the morning as well. Yeah, this is just Explain Map Enhancement Basic. You know, for VFR low level, maybe you want to look at the Pro, but it's alright for what we do. Super. Awesome. So short flight, guys. Probably got 100 miles on the cruise. Give us some time to set up, fly this approach. Little Fox enjoying the sunrise, sunset, and Explain. It has gotten so good. It sure has. It's been very good for a long time, to be fair. Actually, I think Just Flight have offered me the it's a Cessna 150 or 152 that's just been released to Explain. I think the is it Thrander Designs, or I'm not sure who the developer is, but you know, it could be a bit something. You know, generally we do GA and Microsoft Flight Simulator because the scenery does look very nice, but I don't know, with Explain Map Enhancement, bobbling around at 2,000 feet with that sort of scenery, yeah, not ideal, I suppose, is it? But I don't know. See the trees sort of spawn in as you zoom in, but yeah, for you know, IFR stuff is great. Hello Stuart Yates, I haven't seen you here for a while, buddy. My dream has always been to be a pilot. At 46 I feel my days are numbered. I'll enjoy my 5 to 10 flights a year and enjoy my whites at the back. That's nothing wrong with enjoying that, buddy. I sometimes wish I was in that scenario a little more, but yeah, I mean, if you're using desktop simulators, I mean, I don't know, I can't say for sure, is that too old to start your career in aviation? I don't know, you might want to look up whoever was the oldest person to start or have a career change, but I don't know. Look into it, you never know. Cloudbound Sim, it's just a 4K Z-Bar. No, actually, I don't generally see the difference in quality between the normal and 4K, so I just use the standard version. I genuinely can't tell the difference. Steve, I wonder how many times astronauts drop things after coming back the first day or two after being so used to letting things go, and they just float. I reckon the guys after being on the International Space Station for 6 months are probably a little more prone to doing that. But how long have they been up there? It's a 10-day mission, wasn't it? It was Wednesday last week, Monday, Friday, yeah, so it was 9-10 days. It's a Cessna 152, that's the one I want to most in it. I've got the email, I'll have to look into it. Identity IDB and VR approaches a thing on the line still? Yes, absolutely. But obviously in an aircraft like this, the Airbus A320 or any modern commercial jet airliner, the approach is hard-coded in the FMC, regardless if it's RMP, VOR, NDB, it doesn't matter. And once you select that approach, the aircraft flies it using LNAV and VNAV, as opposed to using any external beams from the beacons. So you know you can use VOR lock on a VOR approach. It's not very accurate. It's actually far more accurate to use LNAV. And on an NDB approach, there's no roll or pitch mode, or roll mode primarily, that can follow an inbound radial. So you'd have to use heading select, just simply push the head, pull the tail, if you were to do it raw data. And it says, when flying the older NGs with the retractable landing lights, when do you turn the retracts off? Is it after gear up or to reduce any drag? No, at 10,000 feet, it's minimal. It really isn't that much drag, so we just leave them extended. No, sorry, I'm thinking landing lights. No, the retracts is to do with gear up on takeoff. Completely forgot what I was thinking of. When we put the gear up on takeoff, we put the retracts to the retract position. And when we're cleared to land, we turn the retract and taxi light on. I've not flown in an old school NG with lights for a long time. Coming up to 290. There's not much to see out the window now, I'm afraid, as we depart New Caledonia. There's a few islands to cross, and the town of Uwe on this island, but apart from that, it's just the Pacific Ocean. We get to the island nation of Vanuatu. So Fiji was an old British colony. What was, I haven't looked on the Wikipedia of Vanuatu and our island Ifati. I have no idea if it was an ex-colony or whatever. Denty, what if GPS is jammed? Well, you lose positional accuracy and your AMP will increase, but the 737 is very capable of using other sources to update its position. So if DME, obviously you've got IRS or your position as well. So yeah, lots to do. Hello Cookie, my part-time mod. No, I'm joking. Hope you're doing well. It says the cookie is in. Thanks for popping in. Mr. Lancel. Other moderators will be wondering who on earth is YR Lancel. YR Lancel is a moderator, believe it or not. He's actually a very good friend of mine. He's also a training captain at my operator. What are you doing? Get out of here. Go on. Afati. It's the name of the island. Andy, that's what I thought. Glad I've been doing it correctly. You've got it. You've got it. Evening, Almighty Stark. Hope you're doing well. Brilliant. Conti says, good day. We're doing the VOR DME NDB Alpha. We are. Why, I don't know, but just for your amusement. It's the most challenging approach I think I've... Probably one of the most challenging approaches I've attempted to stream. I don't know what could possibly go wrong. Lancel, you're showing your father your videos. Brilliant. Hello, Senior Lancel. Your son only taught me the rudest Dutch, so I won't know any. I won't say any of that on the stream. You're good, Almighty Star. Great. Just woke up from a nap for the night shift. Hope you are doing well too. Thank you very much. Doing great. THNC1GJ says, how's the new PC going? Very well, thank you. Well, we're now a month and a half, 2 months in. Trouble-free and running smoothly. Long may it continue. Conti, what a great approach. Have fun. Oh, thank you very much. You know what's going to be really annoying? Turning right. That is where, guys, the runway is going to be. That's my view of the runway. And this is a real problem in real life with low sun and mist and fog, which we have forecast with visibility. So, yeah, we're going to really struggle within the confines of a desktop simulator, judging when to turn. I've made a sort of note with this approach here. In reality, there's some lead-in lights which are modelled.
1,000 to go.
But there's an NDB here. When you pass over the Port Vila NDB, you can pretty much start your turn and you roll out on final. So we'll sort of do it blind and see what happens. Southport, it's hard looking at the weather radar in 2024 after enjoying the real one in XP12. Yes, it does have a modelled weather radar now, of course. It's okay in X-Plane. I think there are limitations for weather radars in desktop simulators, especially if you're flying online on VATSIM, because you're going to have to, if you want to avoid weather, you know, if you're avoiding weather, it might not be exactly displayed like it is on another person's PC or as it is in real life. So, I don't know. There are limitations. And I've found it can be a little bit too sensitive, even with the gain turned down. The weather in the weather radar with the in-tube weather radar we have with the mod. Oh, you're quite right. Axe in LD says, I think you can put on sunglasses and explain where it dims the brightness a bit. It might be useful. You're quite right. You can. It's under view. Shift S. Yeah, you know what? That might help a little bit. So there you go, putting my sunglasses on there and off. We'll see. Yes, Andy 320 cookie. I might say that a few times. I might do. Anyway, here's a flyby. There we go. Progress. Well, making great time. I think the schedule was 20:30 Zulu on the flight plan, and we're on standard 30. So we're 30 minutes ahead of schedule. It's going to be great. Yeah, it's an issue with shared flight currently. Weather is generated on local PCs. Ah, there you go. No chemtrails today. No, I've left the switch off. Hello, Short. Hope you're doing well. Just tuned in. How's the Zibo behaving tonight? Yeah, it's okay. Not been updated since we flew it. A few issues with the lateral guidance on departure with the conditional 3.5 hours of waypoint. I had to update the route manually, but seems to be okay. And when you bug up, the flight director pitch bar is very slow to update. It's been that way for a while. Eddie, do you like the NG or the Max more? If I'm doing 4 short sectors, the NG. For long 2 sectors, or any 2 sectors really, the Max. Max is much more, it's much quieter, much more comfortable. I've been flying the Max for the best part of 2-3 years, and I have had, well, I haven't even, no, well, both the 737 NG and Max are incredibly reliable, but I've flown the Max and I've had no issues technically at all. Oh, I had my little, did I tell you guys about the gear retraction one? I think I did. That's a story for another day. If I have time, I might do it on the way back. Southport says, still trying to pluck up the courage to go on VATSIM. How long did you suffer with radio anxiety in your early flying days? So when I did my PPL Southport, Paul, I did mine in 2006. In the UK, uncontrolled airspace used to be a little bit different to what it is now. You'd have, radar control service, and then it changed to basic service, traffic service, all this. But I remember on my hour building, checking the first time, I was really nervous. This is in the real aircraft, of course, not VATSIM. And wrote down what I had to say and said it, and yeah, it said, yeah, fine, you're natural, whatever. And then obviously did my flight training, flew the 737, flying. You just gain confidence quite quickly. When I started using VATSIM on the channel, I was a little apprehensive. I was like, how's this going to work? But yeah, guys, it's to reassure you, it is completely natural and normal to feel a little anxious or perhaps nervous about flying on VATSIM, because you obviously you want to do well, you want to perform to the best abilities, but I'll tell you now, you will make mistakes, and it's about recognising that and recovering the situation. And there are some controllers that probably make your life a little bit more difficult than it needs to be, but that's certainly the minority. The majority are very helpful. So I'd recommend trying it out. Look out for the first wing events on VATSIM, but avoid busy airports to start with. Don't go on your first day on VATSIM at Frankfurt, for example, which is always so busy. you know, go somewhere to your local airport and watch some of my streams. I'm always on VATSIM. Yes, I'm on VATSIM now. There's no ATC now, but I do base a lot of my streams around VATSIM events. But just have a look what I'm saying. Have a look at the CAP 413, CAP 413. It's a UK-based radio telephony manual. Very useful. But yeah, you'll be fine. Right, let's start setting up for this approach because it's only 80 miles from top of descent. Jim, you have control. Forecast page. 250 below 10,000 feet. Transition altitude is quite high. Forecast or request the winds from ACARS. Whilst that's going on, we'll just have a little look at that. Oh, it's me. Have a little look at the weather. So QNH1008, 10k for you at 2,000. Lovely morning then. I'm looking with the weather here. Let's load in that and set the QNH of 1008. Execute. So that's all in. Ice deviation is 21 degrees, so +6 on the ground, and here it's +12, so an average of 89 degrees ice. I don't know if I mean, I very rarely use this unless it's a significant difference in real life. There we are, not using any engine anti-ice. So fixed rings for the landing runway. 10 and 6, I'll explain why I put a 6 mile ring in a second. And I'll also, because look at the approach. The approach is not lined up with the runway. Final approach track 025 heading northeast, runway length 90 degrees offset. So what I'm going to do for situation awareness is extend the centre line using the fixed ring. So if I go here, find the runway QDM, opposite of 106, just look the other way, 286. If I type in 286 here on the fixed page, runway 11, it will put, if I go here to the plan display, an extended radial. See that from the runway? That's normal, by the way, this curve. This is how it looks. But this is for situation awareness as to where the extended centre line is. We should have a white dashed line because I have selected that approach or runway in the FMC, but it's not there for some reason. Let's now have a look at the approach. Before I do that, would it be fair to say nigh on 100% of airline pilots have used to train on Microsoft Flight Sim? I explain. I'd say, I don't know, V8 motors. I mean, a lot do. I'd say it's the minority. Not many people sort of use the sim whilst they're flight training. I did. Others didn't, and they make absolute fine pilots. I just use this as a supplementary sort of system to my training. So, yeah, I'd say probably the next generation, which I hope included myself, but oh gosh, I've been here for 15 years. Am I still the next generation? Probably not. The next guys I train, the more and more I use flight sims, so yeah. So let's have a look here at this approach. There's no stars into this airport at all. We're literally flying straight in on this VOR DME via van. So if you're coming from the north or east, you'd fly the procedural arrival via Port Vila. There's far more convenient approaches. So this RMP 11, it's offset with a very slight right turn onto final. But what's the fun in doing that? Let's do this tricky, silly, hard approach. So starting at the top, we'll tune the NDB 361, which is actually active from my test sector. I'll just make sure ADF is selected on the EFIS panel and on the RMI. Okay, final approach course is 025. 025. 025. We've got the final approach fix at 1500 feet. We'll use that as our descent point. Minimums then. So this is it's classed as a circle to land because the final approach track is significantly offset from the runway, so we have to set circling minima. Category C, 1380, visibility requirement 3,700 meters. Now this is an MDA, but unlike a straight in approach, we don't need to add 40 feet because the aircraft would technically on a circle level off, but we're going to disconnect the automation, keep descending if we're visual below the minimums. So what we do is round it up to the nearest 100 feet, so we'd actually set 1400, and then, you know, if we weren't visual or visibility was tight, we could level off, have a quick look. Nope, we're not visual, boom, go around. So we'll set 1400 feet here. There we are. Let's talk about what we're going to do to fly this approach. So, MSA 3,400 feet, caution there's trees, great. Use local altimeter setting. Aircraft inbound on the VOR on these radials can descend to 2,000 feet and remain outside a 10-mile arc, which we're not doing today. No circling obviously to the north because of the terrain, and in reality there's these lead-in lights which are not modelled in the sim, unfortunately, so it's going to make it far more difficult to judge when to turn final. So we're not flying the arc because we're coming straight in via Vanto. Let's bring up Vanto on the ND here. You've got the ND charts and NDB charts and FMC in view. So there's Vanto. Vanto 193 knots. I'm going to bring the speed right back to 180 knots or below here. So 180 knots or below, flat 5. And we need to be at or above 2,000 feet. We then descend down to 1,500 feet. The FMC will do this as a fixed gradient. It'll be a very shallow descent for this period here, unless it's... Oh no, if we were level at 2,000 feet it would be, but we're not. We're going to be a little higher. 2 miles before Foxtrot 025, which is at 6 miles, we'll call approaching descent. I'll set 1,400 feet, make sure we've got VNAV pass speed intervent. Past the FAF, we'll make sure we're going to select I'm going to go gear down flat 15 at 8 miles. Past the FAF at 6, select the landing flat, which will be flat 40. Complete the landing checklist, and then we'll set the missed approach altitude top of the white bar. Now, how are we going to fly this then? Basically, if we get to Mike Alpha 025, which is the last waypoint coded in the FMC, and we're not visual, we have to immediately go around, which is a right turn, max speed 240 knots, and fly outbound from the beacon 205 to Vanto, where we enter a hold to 2,000 feet, so a very low missed approach altitude. If we are visual, we fly this dashed line overhead the NDB, and then we make a right turn onto final and land. And it's a complete visual manoeuvre. You would have seen the Samos approach, some of you. It's very similar to that. So yeah, it's tricky in a desktop simulator, and to make my life as easy as possible, when I press 9 on my numpad, it looks terrible right now, but that view, when we're turning final, keeps the runway in sight, so you've got to pretty much plan these things. Tobii Eye Tracker is natively now supported in XP12, but I'm not a fan of it, because it works when it's on, but when you turn it off, it saves the camera position at whatever angle you're looking at, and you can't reverse it. I don't know who's tested this or used it. So, you know, I have Tobii Eye Tracker. I've used it occasionally on some slow flying GA, but otherwise, it's, I don't know. I think moving your head around, it's for GA flying fine, but not when you've got to manipulate buttons and switches in a commercial jet airliner. So yeah, I've covered the approach. I've covered how we're going to fly it. LNAV, VNAV, rings, landing gate 500 feet, double briefs fine. So performance, landing on this runway then, stop a descent, just over 10 miles. 2,600 meters. It's not too short, but I'm going to go flat 40. It will just allow the aircraft to fly a little slow on the approach and manoeuvre a little easier. We should be able to stop, beam the apron and taxi onto stand, but let's look at the performance. You know what? It'll be quicker and easier to use the not the inbuilt one, just to use this one here. So landing. Weight 64 tons. I should just work out our landing weight. Just move this over here. So fuel 4.2. We need 3.8 to go all the way back to Port not Port Vila, Nouméa. So we're going to burn 500 kilos. 64.3. That's our landing weight. We'll update that here. 64.3. Weather's in. Flat 40. Temperature's good. Calculate. So yeah, actual landing distance 1778. Factored 2295. Both are less than the landing distance available, so we can do that. Flat 40, water brake 3, start descent. We're going to go all the way down to, we can literally go down to 2,000 feet, guys. So 2,000. Oh no, I've got my MCP. 2,000 feet. You can even see me manipulate it, guys. It's been such a long time since I've flown a stream. This. So 2,000 feet. Set QNH 1008. Passing 28,700 for 2,000 feet. Stand by altimeter set. Great. Down we go. Nice transition onto the descent. Very, very nice indeed. So now we'll start looking at vacating, and then it'll be pretty much straight onto stand and go from here to. There's only 4 stands available, so we'll literally go 1, 2, 3, probably the middle one there. Cool. Oh gosh, there's a bit of noise on my thrust levers. That happens every time I fly the mod after top of descent. It's just spotting it. Hello, iRoke2K. How can you ensure the top of descent when using VNAV to descend is accurate in the NG? Give it all the information you need. So, what it needs. So you expect a star, which it'll base it off. It'll calculate backwards from your next restriction. So right now, if you go to the descent page, it's going right. You want to be at or above 2,000 feet or 180 knots. I'll work off that, and I need some information off you. It's not mandatory, but if you put this in, I'll make it as accurate as possible, and off it goes. Now we'll see the speed's got a bit higher. We'll put that down. Well, I say put it down. It's because the thrust was added on one of the engines from the noise of my thrust lever. So just extend the speed brake, bring the speed back, and we'll keep it on path. Optimus Subprime, what's the shortest runway you've personally landed on? French airport on the northwest coast. Sounds like a drink at the end. Beginning with con. See if anyone can get it. That's short. That's short on one of the, I think it's the Eastleigh runway. It's mandatory max. I think if it's wet or something. Max on the brake. Leeds is always an adventure. Flown there a few times. Nowhere else. The speed's going max, so the speed brake. It's not, Brendan, no, I have been there. Or have I? Maybe I haven't. Maybe I have. Maybe I'm throwing a curveball. Circle to lands are a rarity now. I don't think you're going to probably actually ever do one on the line in anger, my operator, but 10 years ago it was quite common at said mentioned airport, and I did a few there. It was a first officer circle. That was always really good fun. V8 Motors, it would have seemed impossible that a pilot nowadays would never have got his license without ever having used one of those sims. I mean, like we were saying, they're great training aids, but you don't need to use a desktop simulator to become an incredibly proficient pilot. Steve, no. What did it say? It's west coast of France, and the end rhymes with cognac. Oh gosh, I'm getting a ding-dong, really? ATC? ATC in Fiji at this time? What on earth is going on? Was not expecting that. Who is this I'm talking to? Am I the only person on that's in this part of the world, I think? This approach. It's amazing. Vila Tower, hello, it's Alpaca 1 November Charlie. We're descending inbound to Leadit, 2,000 feet QNH 1008. We'd like to request the VOR DME NDB Alpha, runway 11.
Alpaca 1 November Charlie, good morning for Vila Tower, runway 11. Descend to 4,000, VOR DME NDB Alpha.
So altitude 4,000 feet, and we can expect the VOR DME NDB Alpha, runway 11. Thank you very much. Alpaca 1 November Charlie.
Alpaca 1 November Charlie, set squawk 4553 and report your estimate for Vanto.
Squawk 4553 and our estimate for Vanto is going to be 1952 Zulu. Alpaca 1 November Charlie.
Alpaca 1 November Charlie, thanks.
Perfect. That sounds like an Australian controller. I don't know if Dave's around, but I guess that's some Australian. This is sort of catered, or caters the South Pacific. Seatbelts on. That's the one, Brendan. A terrible Steve of me trying to rhyme it. Porto Bergerac. Been there. Speed's sort of running away here, so again, we're not on any direct speed control. FMC's moaning at us as it would because it wants to fly a speed of 273 knots. With idle thrust on this path, it's creeping up, so it's saying drag required. You can sort of, you know, if you're not on any direct speed control, you're not on path now because...
Alpaca 1 November Charlie, thank you. You're identified. Descend to 2000. Cleared VOR DME NDB Alpha approach runway 11.
And set altitude 2,000 feet cleared from the VOR DME NDB Alpha runway 11. Alpaca 1 November Charlie.
The QNH 1008.
QNH 1008. Alpaca 1 November Charlie. So yeah, that's... I can't remember what we're talking about now. Yeah, there's lots of short runways, that's for sure. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what I was saying. If you're on path, great. Yes, we're on path. We're not on speed, so we're not on path because you've got to lose that energy somehow, and it takes track miles or extend the speed brake, which I've just done again now. Oh, Conti, thank you. You were in the stream and you've now come on to provide ATC. Thank you very much. Enhancing the realism of the stream. Boy, take the power flight, they just seem to bring controllers. Conti, are you local to here? Good morning to you if you are. Hello Henry, good evening. Was right behind a 200 freighter in the ATR today, felt absolutely tiny. Oh my goodness me. What's the... Actually, if you're in an ATR, Henry by the way is ATR, real well pilot, you can pop us into these streams. What's the... is it 4 minutes for you, or 3 minutes still, if you're departing behind a heavy like that? Got you, Conti, very cool. I'll start a speed brake, we're on speed. Got a bit of noise from my speed brake as well. Isaac, yeah, we had a few issues with the mod. It's not been updated for a while. We're still in the latest public version, which number I forget, 40531. And it did have a little bit of a wobbly on the SID with the conditional waypoint, and again the flight director in pitch is a bit slow. 4 minutes, yeah. I wouldn't want it to be any less. I mean, I've had wake turbulence on departure from a 320, and that was enough to trip the autopilot. Yeah, excuse me, I had to mute my mic whilst I was having some water. Awesome, well if you've just tuned in guys, welcome on board. We are 10 minutes from our touchdown, flying this particularly challenging approach, the VOR DME NDB Alpha runway 11, which is almost 90 degrees offset from the landing runway. It's a beautiful morning, but not beautiful for this approach, because when I look for that runway, that is the sight I'm going to be greeted with. It'd be far easier to do this in the evening, but hey ho, things I do to entertain my subscribers. Greg Scott, where's the overlay? It's coming. The overlay is not yet compatible with XP12. Guys, I've showed everyone at the start of the stream, but have a look at this. This is my brand new overlay. Very kindly created from... I forgot the tag of the guy now. FPV. I was on the phone to him on Discord for 4 hours this week as well. Stream Flight, look it up. This will be live on all streams in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 moving forward. And there will be compatibility with XP12 coming soon. But yeah, that will be the information that will be provided for the flight, which I hope you'll find interesting. But wanted to fly the mod today, as it's the channel mainstay. We haven't flown it for a while. Right, post-cruise checks. Fuel 4 pumps, we've got plenty. 4.6, we need 3.8 for our alternate. Lights coming on. APU is off. Pressure, no, APU. Pressure, angular bank 25 degrees. Pressurization 3.5. Set, belts on, recool, checks complete. you have your solar eclipse glasses, they might help you staring into the sun. That would be most useful. So one thing I need to point out, you can utilise the automation for this approach, but do not leave it in approaching Mike Alpha 025, because two things will happen. One, the aircraft will start levelling off, and secondly, it'll start turning left to fly the missed approach, which you don't want it to do. So we need to disconnect prior to Mike Alpha 025 and recycle the flight directives, because the guidance will be, well, there'll be no guidance available to take you to touchdown on this approach. Steve, that looks much better. I'm glad you lost the yellow. Yeah, this is Streamflight and FPV Gadget, the Twitch streamer behind it. He does a custom service, so I paid a small amount for him to customize my overlay, and he does it for some other streamers. He's done it for some other streamers as well. So some other customization parts which I couldn't have done myself, he's done for me. So yeah, the yellow was a little bright, wasn't it? So. Oh yeah, Voidtech, yeah. Doing that in X-Plane on the fly isn't as smooth as it is with Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, unfortunately. Changing the time now, it reloads the flight. But otherwise keeps it there. So it's a little hazy today, but I can just about see the island there, guys, coming up. Just about see the island. That's the view I need to see the runway. Oh, should have done this, well, any other time. It's night time. Hello Sam Heaton, haven't seen you here for a while. Bali to Jakarta in the Aero Genesis, is that Argentina's airline? Aero Genesis? Or is it? I don't even know. Bali to Jakarta, very nice. Absolutely, Steve, it was a good investment. It does look a little soupy, yeah, hazy, soupy, whatever you want to call it. No wind in the sim, but again, it's just the speed management's not been great. Generally, the real aircraft is pretty good at flying the planned speed. It's not usually quite as bad as this. It's just been trickling away pretty much most of the descent here. So again, just keep extending the speed brake, manage the energy, whatever you need to do to stay on path and on speed, especially on this approach. And yes, you're right. Technically, it's 250 knots below 100. Dominate, we've seen it. Actually, I'm going to get ranked twice, aren't I? New Sky and Zibo grade your approach as well. So coming up to the decel points, aircraft's now going to start pitching up and bugging the speed back as well. God. Let's have a little look outside. I mean, it's not that hazy, it's just that the sun's going to be right in our face turning final. Yeah. Beautiful day otherwise. Aerogenesis. I thought Aerogenesis. I thought you were trying to say the national carrier of Argentina. It's an interesting approach, Henry. There's the two sectors, Z Money 805. So we're doing sector 1 and sector 2 on the way back. Sam Heaton, yeah, haze at dawn and dusk can be really nasty. I remember gliding once years and years ago, landing at sunrise with a haze, and the canopy was quite scratched, and it caught me out. I lost sight of the runway briefly. I was like, well, that was scary. Speed check flap 1, open the speed window. I should have MCP cam up really. Put the sunglasses on, oh yes. You know what, that does actually help, doesn't it? I might use it turning final. I'll leave them off for now. Okay. Speed check flat 5. Don't care if it's a bit of thrust coming up here, just want to really carefully manage the speed on this approach. Are Pappies an issue with bright sunlight? No, not really. Pappies are incredibly bright. One thing that desktop simulators don't really do that well, you can actually ask ATC to turn up the intensity of the lights as well, the Pappies. And on maximum brightness, they're very bright. Okay, well, it's sort of levelling off here. It's a bit strange. Come on. So approaching Vanta, I'll just advise the control. Alpaca 1 November Charlie. We're just overhead van zone now, established on the VOR DME NDB Alpha for runway 11.
Alpaca 1 November Charlie, the wind's variable at 1 knot, runway 11, you're clear to land.
Runway 11 clear to land. Alpaca 1 November Charlie. There we are. So the path went very shallow. Now it's gone really steep. Flap 10. Whoa, come on. That shouldn't happen. Why did it like level off? Just keep it. Didn't do this on my test data. Yeah, that's telling you the auto throttle struggling to maintain the speed. I've got to be careful here because 210 knots is the maximum speed with flap 10. Anyway, 2 miles approaching descent, 1400 feet, VNAV path speed into it, and we're going to go gear down, flap 15 below 200 knots. Landing checklist, start switches, continuous recall checked, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear downstream green, auto brake is set to 3, holding flaps, flap 25 below 190. Speed below 162, checked, flap 40. Okay, flaps, 40 green light, lights on, cleared to land, checklist complete. So here we are getting nicely established. 6 miles, FAF, 2,500 feet, no flags, altitude checks, no flags. And then we've got to make sure we disconnect prior to this point here. The runway is... This did not happen on my test sector. Where is it? You can see it quite clearly. I can't see it. It's so hazy. Alright, let's just get ready to disconnect. I think in reality, they have in reality these lights that should be on during the day, and you'd very much be able to see those. Right, we've got 2 miles until Mike Alpha 025. The missed approach altitude I'll set. You've got to be careful because it is 2,000 feet here. My goodness me. Strap yourselves in, guys. Strap yourselves in. There it is. That's the runway there. Can you see it? Yeah, we're happy to continue then. that's the runway. Alright. 1 mile to run, so I'm going to get disconnected now. Alright, landing checklist complete. Wish me luck. Alright. Disconnecting auto throttle. Disconnecting autopilot. Recycle flight directors. There's no guidance there that's going to help us. Passing the NDB I found is a good time to start turning final. Just keep descending. Oh, welcome to the party, magnetic switch. Alright, so it's already commanding now the missed approach you see on the FMC, which we hadn't disconnected. It would start following now.
Minimum.
Continue. Oh, God, I can't see a thing. Oh my God, the sun! Why didn't I test this at the time I'd actually be streaming? Right, keep descending, keep descending. So when I pass the NDB, see the needle swing on the RMI, and on the, there we are, turn final,
1,000.
Checked. This is where this view comes in quite useful. There's the runway, still 4 whites.
1,000 feet,
Keep
stabilized,
descending.
bridge altitude set.
Still 4 whites, keep descending. There we are, 1 red. Whoa, that's my rate descent's a bit too high. Just increase that bank cable. I'd be saying to the first officer, match runway heading please. 4 whites, oh, light. Until 300 feet. Oh, there we are, just caught it, but my rate of descent was a little excessive there. 300 continue. Yeah, stable. It's a lot harder in a desktop simulator to judge the height vertically. Little high, just keep it descending. 1,000 feet per minute, no more. Keep descending. Keep descending. Keep descending.
100.
Good, back on path.
50, 40,
Whoa,
30,
came a bit hot.
10.
Hold the attitude. A butter. -20. Speed break up. Did you see that? -20. 100 knots.
50 knots.
You would have thought. Manual braking, and I made the exit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Where am I? Vila. Oh, what a beautiful approach. Can't teach it. Oh. That was superb. I think that's one of the lowest ever.
Alpaca 1 November Charlie, welcome forward via taxi via the apron to your bay of choice.
My apron bay of choice. Thanks for coming on, Alpaca 1 November Charlie. Cheers. Amazing. It's just like I'm just like a Jedi. I'm a flight sim Jedi. Right, let's get it cleaned up. Right, flaps up, speed brake stowed. The rate of descent was a little excessive, I think, last minute, but turning final, just let the nose drop there, but just sort of helped. It came a bit high, but like, there's so many limitations in desktop simulators. You know, you only do so much, see so much as well. You know, turning on the final, you'd be in real life. It'd be far easier to judge vertically where you are. Should be steady, and we're on stand now. APO started. Trim 4 units. Transponder out off. Order brake off. Flight directors off. 1100 is fine. 100. Got my little marshaller. AP on the bus. There we go. 35 minutes ahead of schedule. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm going to turn that off. Butter parking. Parking brakes set. 2 blues, 1 red. Engines are dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Port Vila on the island of Ifati, the country of Vanuatu in the South Pacific. There we are. Seatbelt signs off. Goku doors to mounting cross check. And whisker are on. Verify N2 is reducing. Yeah. 2000 standby. Engine 1 and N2. On engine 1 and 2 below 20%. Anti-collision light off. We can end the flight in New Sky. Let's see how we did. Ah! Oh, 10 out of 10, guys. Ah. Amazing. Well, look at that for a straight line. Straight in. Amazing. Superb. It's a good bump so far. I think actually it's the only second flight I've done this month. I'm on a 10 streak. I'm on a 10 streak. See how Zibo graded me. Oh, the brightness is now better. Excellent landing. And a great approach. Yeah, well, it would have been the 1,000 feet below 500 feet, which I think I briefly hit. But when we do a circle, as it's classed as there, your gate's a little lower, 300 feet laterally by 500, fully stable by 300. Sorry, other way around. So you know, your rate of descent I hit was way in excess of what it should have been, just turning base there. But again, that's the difficulty of a desktop simulator. You can't really see what's going on outside and monitor your flight instruments at the same time. It's a lot more natural to do it in real life, but there we are. Nicely done. Sector number 1 underway, but that was the sort of most exciting approach we've done for a while. Very nice indeed. Go give it a try. Not first thing in the morning local time because of the sun in X-Plane, but I have to say it flew it really well. LNAV, VNAV, and the guidance was very good in the approach. The mod's doing well. It's nice to be back in the mod again and do some stable flying in the sim. Conti, looks great. Thank you very much for popping in for the ATC. If you're still around, I'm going to do the flight back, so feel free if you've got nothing else to do to provide ATC, but fun understanding if you need to go. In real life, we ask the passenger to clap after legs. No, I do not. Seeing the runway on ND is visual enough in this haze. Yeah, I sort of had to utilise the trend vector on the green dash line there, but there we are. That was a mega butter though, -20. I don't think I've had one that low for a very long time, with flat 40 especially. Oh dear. Yeah, it looks like a C-fit. Yeah, if you screw this approach up and keep going in a straight line without turning final, you're going to hit some terra firma, that's for sure. But there we are, guys. I'll take a quick break. I'll be back in about just under 10 minutes or so, and we'll do the return sector back to the French territory of New Caledonia. Flight up around an hour. See you shortly, guys. Thanks a lot for that intermission, guys. A little bit longer than I was planning to be. Sorry, I had to do a few little chores. Dog out, car on charge. usual husband stuff, but had to get myself a drink as well, which I've consequently left downstairs. Never mind. I'll have to get it down a little bit. But there we are. Sector number 2 then. Just I was going to do the one set today, but you know what? I thought, why not? Everyone's sleeping here. I'm well ahead of schedule. I think I was planning on departing at 2100 Zulu, which is in 50 minutes. So that first flight was actually quite quick. Planned flight time was 55 minutes. I think it was a lot quicker than that. Yeah, just past 1 hour 5 now. So yeah, we'll do the return sector. The approach won't be as exciting as it was on that one, but nonetheless, we'll just operate the aircraft as realistically as possible. So, flight deck to hubby, yes, as you know as well, as a man's jobs are never done. There we are. Right, aircraft transit setup state then. So first things first. Shouldn't be doing the walk around because he's never allowed to fly. We get the weather. Well, we actually have our ATC here, so Conti's still providing ATC for our sector. We've got the ATIS to grab, so I'll have a listen to that now. And just turn up the volume of X-Pilot. Not sure if it's coming through on voice.
Time check.
There we go.
2011.
So,
Port Vila Terminal Information Alpha.
Information Alpha.
Runway 11. Wind variable. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers.
Could be Sam, Conti, not sir.
Cloud speed.
Oh, just seen a fuel truck hit a shed.
21. QNH 1008. On first contact with Port Vila ground or approach, notify receipt of Information Alpha.
There we are, Information Alpha. Not much to say at all, really. Very calm weather. Variable winds. 10k, fuel at 2000, 21 degrees, QNH 1008. It's almost perfect. Already synced the flight plan with Zibo, so we go here, fuel weight balance, airside services, load in the new flight plan. So there we are, 6830. Again, the weather en route and at our destination is absolutely fine. So if I go here, 6830, 6830. Again, we can just go 69, absolute minimum block fuel. Absolutely fine today. 180 passengers again on the return sector. We'll activate that. So that's going to start the fueling and boarding process for the return sector. So, weather's done. We don't need to do a light test oxygen on any subsequent sectors, only on the first flight of the day. We'll go here to IDEN, pause in it. Insert our departure airfield, which is now November Triple Victor. Route. Flight plan request. Give it a couple of seconds. Hopefully it won't get the cleaners back on aboard again. Support in real life will fly across FIR boundaries. Is there any way to pre-select predict the frequency, trying to get better ATC using same intentions? Not really. Night time, certain areas like London control will actually close multiple frequencies down and have one controller control a larger area. So you do get over time flying the same routes, you begin to learn them anyway. But no, you just have to get the ability to listen to those digits and write them down in the scratch pad quickly, or pen and paper, whatever works for you. Right, let's load in that flight plan. I'll pack a 2 Papa Victor on the way back. Activate, execute, departure.
Flight deck hose is connected and starting refueling.
Runway 11. There's a few SIDs here. There's South VOR DME. We're going to request the South departure because it's the it's what we need to do. There's a VOR departure which is maintain runway centerline and intercept the radial 110 outbound. That's only to take you sort of further east, so hopefully we'll get a South departure. We'll just confirm with ATC when we get the clearance. And then it'll be from South eventually going after the Vector to Ledit en route. Again, it's a dead straight line. Ledit, Nipog, Lechner. There's no stars. We'll fly straight in via Saram for the procedural arrival onto the ILS X-ray, I think it is. But there's very high terrain and very steep steep descent gradients we need to comply with later on, so we'll have to see how we get on. Anyway, that's all done. Performance refueling's ongoing. Zero fuel weight, because we're still boarding, it's not actually replicating the correct actual zero fuel weight. That's a little workaround in desktop simulators. You can double click that to get your actual current zero fuel weight, but once boarding is complete it will be the same as it was on the way down. 60.1, so I'll pre-select that now. 60.1. Reserves 3.6, and that was actually to divert back to here, Port Vila. Cost the next 30. There's not many suitable alternates around. We had a little bit higher on this cruise on the way back, 360 as opposed to 290. Winds, sorry, I'm not displaying up for you. Average and top of climb is almost the same, so I'll just put top of climb in 247, excuse me, 53. Top of climb ISA is 14 degrees. Let's have a look at this takeoff performance again. So we'll close that, bring up SimBrief. There we are. So takeoff performance here. I don't know if there's any chance for an intersection departure. Is it too short? I think it'll be way too short. Yeah, well, there's no way we can intersect off runway 11 for 29 unless we're completely empty. That would be brave. So look, we'll go full length backtrack for runway 11 like we did in Nouméa. So you've got performance up, runway 11, 2,600 meters, optimum flap, optimum thrust. Calculate. So this is now very similar to performance to earlier. Flap 5, 26 degrees, assume temperature 51. I think it's the same. Was it 56 earlier? I can't remember. Right, that's in. Takeoff, flap 5, CG 20.8 now, 5.36 units. Joshini, why cost index 30? It's Alpaca Airways standard cost index. Not too fast, not too slow. We'll get you there, one piece. Speeds now, standard speeds 142, 142, 149. So we always go off the performance calculator. Sorry, I'll get rid of that. 142. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. There we are. 142, 142, and 149.
Ground to flight deck, fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Great. 149 is set on the MCP. And refueling's done, so seatbelt sign on. Great. FMC's loaded. Overhead panels pretty much all configured and set for the next sector. APU is still running from the previous sector as well. Forgot to send the probes off. Look on the taxi in on the previous sector. Oops. It's now going to be flight level 360. The elevation at our destination. Having a little look here. It's 29 feet, or 51 feet, so we can leave that set to 50. Perfect. Flight director's on. Courses and heading books the same. Oh no, they're not, because of course we did this crazy final approach track, didn't we? So it's now, we need to be updated to 106. There we are, it's a good job I spotted that. So that's actually a bit of a threat. I've had this happen in real life. You land somewhere, Malaga, land on runway 12, and then you depart off runway 13, and your heading bug and courses are all incorrect, or most importantly your heading bug. So when you push toga, the flight director and roll doesn't command the runway centre line, it starts turning. So make sure you update your heading and courses to the actual runway in use. Auto brake RTO, reset fuel flow, we'll get our clearance momentarily. I'll just set 4,000, 100 feet. The 100 foot increments, just to remind me I don't have my clearance. Squawks 2000 standby, config warning. Okay, good. Let's grab our clearance. And we're ready to go as well for the engine start. What a quick... This is going to be the quickest 2 sector stream we've ever done. It's great when there's no traffic, to be fair. It's very quiet. Right, it doesn't ruin the immersion slightly. Why are all these random vehicles just driving out of the building? Right, let's grab our clearance. I have no clue what stand we're on. It is... this one. I'll just say I'm on the apron. The controller should see where we are, at least. And it's approach, isn't it? It's called... Just want to get this all correct. Vila Tower. Vila approach. Hello, it's Alpaca 2 Papa Victor on the apron. Copy information Alpha. QH1008. Departure clearance to New Caledonia, please.
Alpaca 2 Papa Victor, good morning. Via Tower, you're cleared Tontuta via Leaded planned route, flight level 360. Runway 11, south departure, squawk 3706.
We are cleared to FRT via the standard flight program routing via Leaded and then the Takeoff VOR. Climb flight level 360 via the south departure runway 11, squawk 3706. I can't remember what that VOR is called.
Let me try that again. Alpaca 2 Papa Victor, that's correct. ATIS Bravo's up now. The winds are calm. Temperature 232 and H1009.
As copied, UQNH1009 at Alpaca 2 Papa Victor, and request engine start. Was it pushback here?
2 Papa Victor,
Yeah.
engine start approved.
Perfect. Start approved, Alpaca 2 Papa Victor. Yeah, it's self-manoeuvring stand here. So, backs off, anti-collision lights on, parking brake is set, transponder out off. So we're cleared on this departure. It's a south departure, and the flight plan route is going to go via Leadit. And then after Leadit, we're going to route direct to the VOR. So I can sort of update that now. I need to update that whole routing actually because it's got a different transition. But what I'll do is type in the VOR on the field so that it's at least correct. Tontuta Lima Tango Oscar. Like this. It's going to be the closest one. And then I'm just going to put something like TOSAM. We'll tidy it up later when we select the approach. Perfect. No, otherwise it's going to be moaning at me about the route. Cool. Starting engine number 2. 40 minutes ahead of schedule. N2. New sky. New sky. Oh no. I can set out whilst taxiing. I've done that before. Oil pressure. N1. Fuel on. Light up. Let's do this quickly. Alpaca 2 Papa Victor. Now departing. Oh, I don't know any ICAO codes this part of the world. November Triple Victor to November Triple Whiskey. Ah! Start a cut out. One trigger engine number 2. Thanks, Jim.
Welcome.
2 stable, starting engine 1. Thanks for your subscription, Pushback. Welcome. Love it. Love your name. Boeing 738. 2035. Let's call it. Yeah, that's fine. Book flight. Don't do this while starting engines. Start flight. There we go. Close. N2, 25%. Oil pressure M1. Fuel on. 2 tons of radar ramp traffic go to the destination into buildings rather than turning around on stand and through the plane. That is true. I wonder what's going on in there. He's gone through the door. Magic. Starter cut out, monitoring engine 1. 1, 2 stable. Let's do the before taxi flow. Gotta love a remote stand. No pushback. Flaps to 5. Flight controls. Forward. Back. Left. Right. Rudders. Right. And left. Recall. Blank lower DU. And then you'd read the before taxi checklist. Perfect. Is everyone on board? You know, sometimes passengers turn up late. Oh, yeah. We did an early call and everyone checked in. And actually, funny enough, if everyone's checked in and everyone is on board and it's still 25 minutes to go, your gate will obviously close and you can get an update on your flight plans. There you go. Missed the audio checklist. Are you a real pilot? That's actually not on this aeroplane, but oh no, it is. Yes, maybe I'll have to look at getting this checklist back. We'll have to see. Right, we are ready to taxi. I think I've not forgotten anything. No checklist of single pilot ops, of course. There we are. Alpaca 2 Papa Victor, request taxi.
Alpaca 2 Papa Victor, taxi via the apron, hold short runway 11, report ready.
Apron to runway 11 and report ready. Alpaca 2 Papa Victor. Okay, cleared to taxi the apron. So short taxi, and obviously you need the reference from the first officer here because it's a right turn following the yellow dash line. So and then onto that point there. So release the parking brake. Config checked. Now we're moving. We'll just go forward a little bit.
Have a good flight.
Cabin's already secure. Could turn here. Remember the nose wheel's behind you, so you want to sort of follow it like this. And you know, it can really turn on a sixpence. If you look outside, you'll see the nose wheel's pretty much just overshot it slightly, but the main gear you want to be rolling out on the centre line of the taxiway here. do the before takeoff checklist. So config we checked, flaps we have, 5 green lights, stab trim set for departure. That's 5.4 units set. Takeoff briefing, packs order bleeds on, V-speed set for departure. 142, 142, 149 set on the MCP. And it's going to be a south departure, which is basically climb straight ahead 1,000 feet, and then we're going to make a right turn en route. And that's it. Climb on track of 200, and then we'll go direct to the first waypoint. Reviewed, cabin secure, checks complete. Alpaca 2 Papa Victor, holding short, runway 11, ready for departure.
Alpaca 2 Papa Victor, enter and backtrack runway 11. When ready, runway 11 clear for takeoff, the winds are calm.
Enter lineup backtrack and clear takeoff runway 11, Alpaca 2 Papa Victor. Good. Clear to enter backtrack lineup and takeoff runway 11. So again, we confirm clear left, clear right. Crew seated, MCP set. Transponder TARA, strobe lights are on. Lights are all on, checks complete. And this, when the operation's as slick as this, and it can happen, even with full load of passengers, this is what it can be like on really short taxis, and the pace is matched as to your, not necessarily experience, but you never rush, you always ensure everything's complete, but the more experience you have, you get very sort of proficient at checking these things. But you've got to also be very careful of complacency. When you look at statistics and accidents and instances in the industry, things like runway incursions, so entering a runway without clearance, or taxiway errors, statistics sort of show it's experience usually isn't a factor, home base usually isn't a factor, hotspots, daytime, nighttime, you just got to be vigilant all the time, and complacency is a real threat. Blow light checks all done. Bowman.
Jetstar 124 radio check.
Got a little Jetstar here as well.
Jetstar 124 today, VSR reading at 555 pound me.
55 Jetstar 124.
Australians in chat, is sort of South Pacific a popular holiday destination? So in sort of the UK, sort of 4-hour flight, we go to the Canaries. Do guys and girls from Australia go to Fiji and places like this on holiday?
Jetstar 124 clear to Sydney via Newcastle planned route, flight level 260, runway 11, south departure.
Yeah, we're clear to take off.
1027.
Yeah, it's partly like Australia's New York, I think so.
Sydney via Newcastle, flight level 260, runway 11, and squawking 1027 Jetstar 124.
Jetstar 124, correct, just confirm it's the south departure.
Awesome. Yeah, Fiji, Bali.
Jetstar 124.
I'd love to get something like this. Apparently it's beautiful. Alright, cool. Let's go back to where we're going. New Caledonia. Keep going where I am. Timing. I overshot the sensor line slightly. Real good. Alright, stabilised. Set takeoff thrust. 92.8. Takeoff thrust set indication stall.
knots.
Check. There we go. There we are.
Positive brake.
Gears coming up. Shout trim. LNAV. Ah, my flyby view. Ah! Classic. the right turn at 1,000 feet on the south departure, we're heading 200. I'll go. So again, that flight director pitch bar is very slow, so I've actually pitched slightly below the flight director. Flaps 1. And usually you'd be able to follow the flight directors really accurately, pretty much at every phase of flight. It just look, I'm about 3 or 4 degrees below the pitch attitude. It's still accelerating really for at an appropriate speed. If I was actually on the flight director like this, the acceleration's way too slow. Look, it's basically not accelerating. So that needs to be fixed. Anyway, this should be commanding a heading of 200. Yeah, this should be commanding a 200, but it's going back on the original track. So I'm just going to go direct to lead it. LNAV.
1,000 to go.
Checked. Alpaca 2 Papa Victor. Sorry, could you confirm the cleared level?
Flight level 360.
Roger, I'm straight up to flight level 360. Alpaca 2 Papa Victor. I didn't actually confirm that on the clearance. Oh, VNAV, too much twisting. That is why you do full briefings to check and confirm cleared levels and altitudes. That's still set to 4,000 feet. Yeah, the flight director is a bit more of a suggestion. There we go. Right, trimming nose down as we accelerate. It's a set standard. Passing 5 on flight level 360. She's in trim. Command 8. Here we are, after takeoff checklist. Gears off. Water brake off. Air conditioning and pressurization 5.5. I'm losing the plot. Air conditioning pressurization passing 2.2. So, set. Lose the crew. I was checking the diff pressure as the passing flight level, but in my head I was saying set standard passing 6.3 flight level 360. After takeoff checklist complete.
Alpaca 2 Papa Victor, when you get a set report, you're passing the altitude and your estimates for the landing.
Currently passing an altitude of 6,900 feet for flight level 360 and estimating and lead it at time 2041 Zulu, Alpaca 2 Papa Victor.
Alpaca 2 Papa Victor, thanks, you're identified.
Perfect. Hello David, inaccurate flight director, a new issue has been the case with Zibo. Yeah, it's been like this in the last couple of updates in pitch, and I did a tutorial last week on the single engine go around, which I'll find the link for. Let me just grab it here. Basically, the pitch, it's too slow to react in pitch, and it was a bit annoying because I was recording this video on the single engine go around, and you know, oh, who was that sound? It was about 50-50 whether to do the Zibo model or the PMDG. I think the PMDGs are probably a little bit of a more stable platform in that regard. DG, I think that's my stupid voice. Here's the link to the video, but on the go around itself, it was all over the place in pitch, unfortunately. Awesome. Hello, Report. Is this your only flight for today? Well, this is our second sector. And this will be the last flight of the day, I'm afraid. We're made out of strong stuff, but it gets a bit difficult to do multiple sectors. Right, passing 111, flight level 360 to the pre-cruise checks, fuel 4 pumps.
124,
wings balance, lights
off,
APUs off, air conditioning, pressurization 3.9 climbing, set, belts recall, checks complete. Sorry, ETA. I need to tidy up the approach, but 25 Zulu, just under 50 minutes. Hello Andy, do 73 pilots ever practice exiting the cabin through a side window? No, never had to do that. Never demonstrate how to open and close it, but no, we do that routinely every day, especially on hot days. If you want some fresh air on the ground, but no, don't have to get out or demonstrate getting out. I think if you had to get out quickly, you would just do it. I commented earlier, what's the white arrow on the speed tape? 164 knots ish. So on takeoff, V2 plus 15 is replicated by that white bug. That speed's quite important for flat retraction, so after takeoff, when we accelerate past that speed, we start flat retraction. And on approach, it's a different speed. It's VREF plus 20, the same white bug. Otherwise, you know, apart from the flight director, once you're on it, and the pitch phases for most other phases, which are quite smooth changes, it does do a good job in that regard. I mean, it flew the non-precision approach quite nicely. I mean, I don't know why it leveled off at 4,000 feet and then did a really steep descent afterwards, but yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, not a long cruise here. Getting good performance here. FPS is yeah, about 60, which I've got it capped to. Oh, yoke cam's on. It's a good job I didn't pick my nose, not that you can see it. What's really annoying is a lot of my buttons are close together, so my charts overlay is quite close to my yoke cam button. Hello. Ardy plays VR game, I hope you're doing well. Oh, bye-bye. His comments disappeared. Rimple, do you ever fly general aviation flight sims? I'm fairly new to your channel. Yeah, occasionally. So last stream we flew the Black Square Cessna Caravan Professional, which was very kindly sent over from Just Flight. Not that that's really GA per se, it was more sort of with an IFR flight, but very occasionally I'll do group flights on the Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, but the majority of my content is commercial flying, of which this is my bread and butter, because I'm still flying this aircraft now for 15. It's my 15th year flying the 737. But we have a lot of fun on the channel flying unfamiliar aircraft. We don't have so much fun flying Airbus, because that's a real mystery as to how that works, but it's always a laugh when we do jump in the competitor. Thanks to subscription, King Benny 100 from earlier. Henry, looking forward to flying the Flight Factor 777-300. Need to get back into XP12 again. Yes, I have seen that's imminent, the release of that aircraft. I do like the look of this Nimbus Simulation 707 as well. That's the only Boeing aircraft I think we've not flown commercially. Mystery man at your service. I still don't know who it is. Now, actually, I have to say, my Airbus flying, I show a certain level of proficiency. The last Airbus stream we did was the brand new Aerosoft A330. The one from Tolis and Aerosoft's combined their skills to make that add-on. And I flew into Frankfurt's Friday event or whatever it was. No problem. That was... It's like... bad at home.
11 taxi via apron, Dexter 134.
Prepare for building a full home sim. No. Like, I'm very, very fortunate to be able to call a full motion level D simulator my office. You know, it's where I spend the majority of my flying career now, doing checks and training. And after a week of doing that, I do like to see the back end of that sim, which is, you know, I've said this so many times before. I'm very fortunate position to say that. So to build one of those at home, maybe when I retire, who knows? But hey, I like my little home desktop flight simulator setup. But we don't want to fly the big Boeings, of course. I'd love that opportunity to have a go on one of those aircraft, a wide-body jet, but not at the expense of uprooting my personal life. You know, I'm a young father, married, family, friends. It's too much of a personal change. Al Lenza, no, I've actually not flown the Strato Cruiser. We've flown the Boeing 247, so I can't say I've flown every commercial Boeing aircraft, can I? Again, not much to see out the window apart from the Pacific Ocean. Two tons build a full room Airbus simulator 773 separate work from recreation. Yeah, about that. The thing is though, I quite like flying loads of different aircraft. So if you actually are a home copy builder, and you've got to really love that particular aeroplane to actually build it and fly it, because if you want to fly something else, you're going to have to fire up a different computer, aren't you? So I love flying all different ones. Carter, what are you going to log off soon, I think? Cheers, buddy. Thanks for the ATC.
Runway 11 and when ready, good takeoff. Runway 11, wind calm. Jetstar 124.
I assume you are, so I've commented that you're going to log off, but we'll listen out. Ripple 1150, have you flown the Concorde? Yes, several times on stream. I'll find a link to my playlists. All my playlists are divided into all the individual aircraft I've flown, or series of aircraft. Not many playlists, but there is a Concorde one. Let me just grab the link. There we go. Oh, got it. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. There you go. So that's the link to all my playlists. You'll find a Concorde one. I think we've flown the Colin Mart's Concorde 10 times. It's the only one I've flown. That's a handy Diego updates. The Rotate MD-11 guys is on my stream list. I have a list of streams I want to do. So that's been updated, which it desperately needed. So my stream list at the moment is MD-11 rotates, L1011 fix for mini builds, and then any other destination suggestions. 2 tons, wow, that's a lot of love for an aeroplane. Flight deck solutions 777. I wonder what's that going to cost for the setup? Don't even want to know. Alex, is there anything you dislike about the 7.3? The noise, the working space? You know, as an actual place to sit in for 10 hours a day, it's not big. I mean, I'm just under 6 foot, but it's sort of, I'm comfortable here. But if you're taller than that, it's not. And I would like it to have a tray table or something to eat off. Ripple, have you done the black box, black square? Yes, Beach Starship. I have flown it on a couple of times. Yeah, that's in my. I have a playlist on most aircraft, but if I only make a playlist for, or a dedicated playlist for a particular add-on or aircraft, if I've streamed it 3 times, if it's less than 3 times, it goes in my generic kind of 737 pilot fly A, whatever playlist. So I'll be in there because I think I've only flown it a couple of times. Bank angle 10 degrees. Hello, Philip Hudrell. Hello, Captain. Just popping in to say your streams maybe by the Avro RJ. Loving using it on the Neofly for the short cargo runs. Very cool. Well, I hope you use my Contrail link to get 10% off. I think, yeah, they do. They do have the Avro RJ and Contrail. They're just like aircraft. So you'd like another Microsoft Flight Sim career stream? Possibly. They are fun, aren't they? What did we do last time? So we did the Cirrus Jet. Oh no, we unlocked something, didn't we? We unlocked paramedical flights, or sort of medical flights. That was it. They are a bit chill. Oh, there's 2 requests for. Oh, will you be doing another cargo run of Chile? I can't remember what was that cargo run I did with Chile. What flight was that? It's squib. Can't remember. Yeah, I mean the career streams are very easy to set up. I just literally fire the sim and go. But there's no, you know, the aircraft we fly don't really do any checklists. So just take off and go. We'll see. Oh, no worries, Flimadol. You could have got 10% off. That's all. Ruben, yes, a lot of the flights last year's streams have been around the Alps. Sort of stuck there. Maybe I'll do a helicopter one. But I don't know if would the controls I have work? Have I got the cyclic? Would that work off my Airbus side stick? I don't know. Henry, yeah, played the career twice, never again. Yeah, it's you know, on your Xbox or whatever, if you're new to simming, great fun. Yeah, we'll see. 2 tons, take care, got to bounce, tour the apartment type that I'm moving into whilst I do the career change. Very good, good luck 2 tons, keep us posted with everything as well. JXS HMTFC, hello, welcome. That's why I need to have this overlay up and running for X-Plane. Well, the dev needs to get it working for X-Plane as soon as possible. There we are. We're flying second sector from Port Vila to French territory of New Caledonia and the South Pacific. I'll be landing in about 45 minutes. But this is, if you've missed it guys, the new overlay coming soon. Again, it's only working in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 at the moment, but there you go. This will be on all flights. You'll have on the fly information, departure, arrival, top left, top right. Custom made by Gadget FPV, uses custom design service. It's got all my colours, and that'll be fully interactive. Check out my last stream in the Cessna Caravan if you want to see it, albeit with different colours, but that's what I'm going to use moving forward. It's nice for people who's just tuned in, they just want to see where I am, where I'm going, etc, etc. Jared, what's your favourite plane type? I mean, that's a very generic question. I mean, I love the aircraft I fly, the 7.3, but that's because it's familiar, it feels like home. But with desktop simulators, I'm flying everything, really. Squib says the Chile cargo run was a long time ago. It was a fun stream. Avocados from Mexico. God, it was a long time ago. Seeing I can't even remember it. But I do often on the cargo flights simulate carrying local produce. Ruben says I could fly the Swiss Air Force H225. My goodness. We did actually fly a third-party helicopter once. I can't remember what the company was. That was quite good fun. Brian, do you ever check EGPWS or TCAS? So we don't routinely test TCAS. The EGPWS is tested on the first sector of the day. There we are, just levelled off. 120 miles till top of descent. Beautiful. So we need to work out, because we're already routing now directly to the VOR. So ILS X-ray doesn't really marry up with our flight plan. We could fly over the VOR and then outbound onto this arc. ILS Yankee really from the west. ILS Sierra we could do, coming in from sort of 192 and then outbound. RMP is not really, you can't really join from the north because of the terrain. That's quite cool. Could do a procedural approach. ILS Victor. 1 minute right on the turn. That was probably the most efficient. Oh no, the most efficient would be ILS X-ray via SARAM. So what I'm going to do, guys, is do something I do in real life. Actually, it's quite common to get routings direct to a VOR very early. That's over the airfield, and you have to think, how on earth am I going to get onto the procedural arrival from there? So what I'm going to do is, because we've been cleared direct to the VOR, select the approach. ILS X-ray 11, runway 11 via this SARAM transition, execute. Obviously this doesn't join up and I want to come from this radial onto that approach. What I'm going to do is put 40 miles before the VOR, so I'm going to go LTO / -40 to generate a waypoint. Boom, done. Execute, and then put direct to TOSAM. Sorry, not TOSAM, direct to SARAM. That way we're still routing direct to the VOR. Get rid of the VOR waypoint, there we are. Still routing direct to the VOR. Approaching Lima Tango 001, I can liaise with ATC if he's not cleared us already. Look, we're approaching the Lima Tango Oscar VOR, the Tontuta VOR, requesting the ILS X-ray via SARAM. And then we could just self-position there. We've just got to be very careful, look. Minimum descent 7,000 feet with a very steep descent here. Look, 5.3% gradient. And yeah, we want to be level at 7,000 feet at SARAM, really. Which at the moment it says, yeah, 7,000 feet or above. Happy days. So we'll put that in for now, and then 100 miles away we can just confirm with ATC our routing. Well, the overlay is very difficult to read on mobile. The numbers and icons are too small to be read. Now, I have the ability to increase the size. A little bit of feedback, guys, from you now. I will reverse it, but if I bring it up here, I've made it that size. I can increase it slightly. So, what I'll do is... I've got to be careful how I do this, because I think if I do it a certain way... Yeah, I can do it like this. So I can make it bigger, look. So how's that? Is that better or worse for most of you guys? And I can obviously center it. So that's bigger, but I've got to be aware it could potentially eat up some space there on the view. So that's the new size I've made. And that was the original. Oh, you guys prefer the bigger one? Okay. Again, I'm very open to feedback because it's going to be quite new, so I might make it a little bigger. Okay, well, fuel en route. TA 3.9, resist 3.6, not a huge amount extra, but... Ruben, yeah, horses. Horses are a staple of Alpaca OAs. Why it's not alpacas I don't know, but we have carried a lot of virtual horses. Awesome. Well, coming up to 10 to 10 here in the UK at night. Local time, South Pacific, at our destination, New Caledonia. So having a little look here. 7:52 in the morning. On the 10th of April, we're flying in the future here virtually. No range at all. Acoustic Sitter said, as the wise Jeremy Clarkson once said, bigger is better. Yes. Maybe I'll make it a little bigger. I'll have a play of it before next stream at Microsoft Flight Simulator. Don't have all of this. Brakes are quite warm. Well, I say quite warm. Why are my left brakes hotter? We don't have all that fancy system page information. What's fuel flow I want to look at? 2.3 tons an hour. Very chill stream this evening. That's cool. Gosh, shore sector, so start setting up again. What time is Artemis 2 meant to splash down tomorrow? I'd quite like to watch that live. I'm going out for a curry with some colleagues though. But I think that's more important. Philly Pollard, you like the new Taylor layout? Really nice. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? Looking forward to trialing it. I think I'll try the L1011 fix. So I'm still reasonably familiar flying the aircraft, having flown it twice in the last week. Oh, really? Early? Oh, so that would be on to Saturday morning, Ruben, at 2 AM, I guess. I will not be watching that live. If it was the genuine moon landing return, maybe, but... Hello, if you don't have that assistance page, how do you know that what data is in it? Is it repeated somewhere? There's not really any operationally this data. I mean, you can see where the flight control positions are. Is there any benefit? Not really. You just check the flight controls are full and free. There's no jamming, which is incredibly rare. I don't think there's any known cases of that happening I can think of. Brake temperature, you can use tables. You know, after landing, based off your weights, the energy used, where you stopped, what order brake setting, to calculate it as well. So there's no real benefit to having the actual temperature. And that's a good question, bro. I have no idea, because this isn't fitted to our fleet. There's nothing in our FCOM about it. I assume that's tens of degrees, I'd guess. Is it 40 and 90? I'm guessing here, though, guys. I don't want to say what it could be. This is not fitted to our fleet, not in our FCOM, so no information about it. Well, I better do some setting up. Plan for RLS X-ray. It's the most efficient approach in. It's quite. Be careful with the terrain here, but I've already done my difficult approach of the stream. Let's tune the RLS 199. Alrighty, 199. That's active. VOR Todd 2 Dad 12.9. It's on standby. Course is 108. Almost same way direction as where we departed. High check 1800 feet, 5.7 DME, minimums Cat C 319 feet. Gosh, that spins quick, isn't it? Woof! Have to click. There we are, 319 MSA. High, alright. North and east, which is where we're coming in from, 6,600 the highest, 6,000 feet, 5,200 feet within 7 miles, but fly the procedural arrival. Don't go below 7,000 feet on the arc to Tossam. Left turn final 107, we can step down to 3,500 feet and 1,800, which is the platform altitude, just check it's coded. Saram, Tossam, 7,000 feet, it's an 8.3 mile arc. Based off DME, I guess. And then on to Tossam. Ah! Requested the winds. Can't do that on mine. We'll put them in. I'll tell you something we never had fitted to our fleet. Wonderful. I'll load the winds here though for my accurate information. So yeah, high terrain really. Passing an NDB as well, 325.5. Climb on runway heading in the event we go around. Intercept and follow the outbound radial 125. Slight right turn. 2,000 feet, make a right turn. Heading south, 1980 to 7,000 feet, contact ATC. Climb straight to 2,000 feet prior to level acceleration, so we'll hold flat 15 until 2,000 feet. And then we'll just continue flat retraction. Same as before, guys. Runway 11, plan to vacate Bravo Charlie off to the left. I'll be able to go flat 30 now. It's about 2,000 metres to Charlie. Load the winds. Let's just double check the weather. Should be as we left it. Cav OK, 22 degrees, 1011, lovely. So I'll execute that. Legs. QNH 1011. Big strings are runway 11. 10. 4 miles. We said, checking the performance, stay flat for the order break 3. 4 tons on arrival, we need 3.6 to divert, 700 kilos to burn. Landing weight quite heavy, 64.1. Go flat 30, order break 3. Second detent reverse. That's cool. This has been a big case of control cables being mounted the complete wrong way before, so you wouldn't recognise that at all then. I think the chances of that happening on a commercial jet airliner today has got to be 0. Surely. That'll be something that needs to be signed off twice or have additional checks for. Maybe on a light aircraft, but I think maybe historically there's been a few serious events. Wasn't there one involving was it an MT-80 or something like that? But yeah, I'd like to think that would never happen. This has been operator been doing the flight control check for as the operator has without that extra for millions, hundreds of millions of flights. So there's unlikely to be an issue. Alex, currently reading the intro to the 737 and coincidentally just read that it's not an option fitted to our fleet. There you go. So nothing in your FCOM either. Yeah, if your brakes are red hot, yeah, you'd feel it. Oh yeah, that's 100. Yeah, FOD could get jammed in the controls again on a 7.3 with the elevator so high. I mean, it's just something to float and fly and then go into there. There's more likely other things that will cause issues, you know, ice, something like that. Does it, Alex? I noticed him in the NG tends to have a higher VREF for the same gross weight, or I think the calculations are pretty good. I mean, VREF is only based off gross weight, but really comparing between the two, I don't really notice any significant difference. Anyway, top of descent coming up. Oh, the AC's gone. I think the chap's gonna come back on actually. I should be on Unicom here then. Conti I think will come back. If he doesn't, it's all good. Conti, fix your ATC, we'll go over to Unicom. Are the controls more heavy in 60 tons plus landing? When you're flying around in a ferrying an aircraft around at 45 tons compared to an aircraft at max landing weight 65 tons, it doesn't really feel different because they're hydraulically actuated controls. But yes, the aircraft has a more float. You have to sort of, you can flare really low to the ground and it will land really nicely, whereas a heavier aircraft isn't heavy per se, but you can sort of feel the mass behind it a bit more. But it's the same techniques used. It doesn't really make much difference. Certainly on takeoff, 22k full. You know, if you have an assumed temperature, no assumed temperature, it really is sprightly. Right, no to see for now. So we're going to descend down to 7,000 feet, which is above the MSA, so it is terrain safe, and it will be fine for the arc after SARAM. So we'll set 7,000 feet. Just double check the QNH. QNH 1011. So set QNH 1011. Passing 35,800 feet for 7,000 feet. Stand by, our 10 minutes set. Down we go. Henry, could there be some slight aerodynamic differences between the NG and Max? Nothing that requires a complete recertification. They fly both in a very similar way, but that's the way the Max has been designed, to fly in a very similar way. The rudder travel, interesting, on the Max is a lot less than the NG, and there isn't much information about that as to why, but yeah, when the guys train and check for engine failures, a lot less rudder input required. Not the you know, the travel itself, the physical rudder travel is less. Oh, there you go, Alex. Yeah, no, don't know exactly why it differs so much. Max is a little bit heavier with those Leap 1Bs, but yeah, look, we just punched the VRF in and fly plus 5 knots minimum. Yeah, quite hazy, so I know Ruben well. It was a right bugger on that approach. Got a little bit of terra firma ahead, I think, so yeah. Ahead, actually left and right of us, we're just flying past these two islands. You can actually see them off the wing. Ah, yeah, there they are. Beautiful. Working very nice with XPME. Speaker vary between 130 and 175. But do you watch Mental Pilot? Not really. I don't spend much time watching other flight pilot sort of style videos or anything like that. I mean, any spare time I get, I stream my own content. But yeah, he's got some very good stuff, very knowledgeable. Let's keep an eye on Vino. It's been trickling a little bit fast today. That sounded like it just added a bit of thrust actually. It's just me matching my physical thrust levers. That's why it just blipped up. bank angle 10 degrees, 25 degrees. Awesome. There we are, probably about 25 minutes till we land, just passing 30,000 feet. We'll just fly the planned routing, so 40 miles before the VOR, make the right turn, inbound to the Sarum waypoint for the Sarum transition onto ILS X-ray runway 11. There we are. A minus 20 off that approach as well. I can't believe we got a minus 20. Minus 20 into Porto Vila earlier. Unbelievable. Hello, so we climbed 737-700 from PMDG out today. Did you have it in 2020? I did. It was, I think everyone had it because it was the first aircraft they released. What routes, airports and deliveries do you think suit the 700 best? Well, Southwest are probably the largest 700 operator, so a lot of US routes would be popular. Do operate 700 in Europe. We obviously flew the 600 not that long ago. It was Air Algiers, but there's a handful of those flying. I don't think there's many 700 operators in Europe. Southwest Airlines. Vlad, which ND layout do you prefer? Track or heading? Oh, track up display every day of the year, and that's what we have fitted to our fleet. Yeah. It's always nice to know where you're heading. Gotta be the track up display. There we are. There's New Caledonia in the mirror. The mirror in the window. Oh, I did get up quite early this morning and been babysitting. I say babysitting, I've been looking after my daughter. My wife Jo's been out all day, and she's out all day tomorrow. I've got baby brain. Anyway, looking good. Should be a nice approach with the terrain. So climb, lighting shading in the mod looks nice now, must have been fixed. Remember it was very dark and shared in cockpits and shaded cockpits some time ago. Yeah, I mean, a few lighting issues we had in the cockpit at the start of the stream when it was night time and the sun was rising, but during the day it's much better. Ruben, yeah, literally opposite of the PMD, just likes the speed. No, speed interval won't do anything, it will just simply open the speed window on the MCP. It will still be and the order funnel will add thrust if you get below that speed, it will still command idle. The only thing you can do is either add drag or increase your speed to get back on path and steepen it. But yeah, it's not as bad as it was on the first sector. In the real aircraft as well, it can sometimes not quite fly the speed actively, but generally it's quite good at planning an idle path descent to fly the planned speed. But yeah, so the mod just trickled ever so fast today. Madam, when ATC fly a heading, whatever, that's a heading, right, not a track. Yes, absolutely. So any vector provided from you is a radar heading bug. So you fly that heading, whatever your track is on the ND, you can ignore. That's just where the aircraft's going. It's ATC's job to work out, you know, your track. I'm quite sure their scopes can tell them where the aircraft's tracking to. No, that's it, Rob. You got it. That's exactly what's happening. Passing 20,000 feet. Very nice. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to make that approach into a YouTube short. And hopefully some people will watch this stream after. That was cool. Great suggestion. I was looking on the destination Stream map here. I mean, yeah, very little love for the South Pacific. Here's every single stream I've ever done, guys. It's amazing, 208,000 views on this page. But look, Europe absolutely saturated. Poor Africa, very little. It's got a few bits and pieces. Good showing on North America. Colombia, I like Colombia. South Pacific, nothing. It's going to have a brand new line look here between these two. But yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, if you want to see this webpage, it's every single live stream, use the command !. Destinations, you can literally click any one I've done, press that, there's a link to the stream, picture, the route, information. You can search what airports I've been to. So for example, let's put Heathrow, Echo Golf, Lima Lima. There's every single stream I've done from Heathrow. Yeah, it's good fun. I quite like this. It's quite a nice little personal thing for me to see where I've been. Russia's not so much. Hawaii, to be fair, I haven't done a huge amount of Hawaii. Anyway, we should probably concentrate on the flight in question. There we go. Right, seatbelt signs coming on. Out across the coastline. Gosh, that's loud. Sorry about that. So yeah, you can tell with X-Plane map enhancement, it's fine for me in IFR flying, but I think if you wanted to do GA, there is a Pro version, which I think gives you better quality, a higher zoom level, but for me, for IFR, I think it looks absolutely fine. I'll turn the music off now as we approach the approach phase. Very high terrain here, so we'll stick to procedural arrival. Sean McCline says, I know you're a hard-working dad now and husband. Do you have any plans to upgrade your flight sim hardware in the future? Maybe the FFB Brenner yoke like V1 has? No, I quite like the... Yeah, here's my Thrustmaster yoke here. With the pivot design like we have on the Boeing jets. And it works really well for any yoked aircraft. So, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know I am... This quadrant's okay. I would be interested in trying the... oh, what's it called, guys? The one with all the customization flap levers and detents. I forget the name of the manufacturer now. Honeycomb. That's it. But it works for me. It works for me in my setup right now. I'm not a fan of change. I quite like if it works and you're used to it. But, you know, I'm open to change and upgrades. But if you look at my streams, like they haven't changed much over the years. Like, it's the same format, but it works for me, and it's what most people request. But I am always open to feedback. It is. I've heard it's large. Yeah. The Honeycomb Bravo. Yeah. So that's another point. I probably need a new desk. Alex, could you demonstrate the checks completed when passing 10,000 feet? Always struggle to remember all of them. Yes, certainly. I mean, I'll do it now a bit early if you like. So we'd do is typically passing 10,000 feet. So use the acronym FLAPS, which works really well. So fuel, 4 pumps, and verify. I always like to have a look at how much we have on board. Lights on, angular bank and descent. So we check on climate's APU, P pressurization, 3.5 psi descending. Set. Check the belts are on, and then we just do a quick recall. And D-tube 1215. That's it. Bit of speed brake here because we're on vertical path, but we're going too fast. We should be on the magenta speed, so extend the speed brake. You've hacked at your quadrant to make it smaller. Fair enough. Don't put any fixed rings around the wrong way. I don't think I did. I did. Drag required, we're dealing with it. There we are, we're on the arrival. So 7,000 feet minimum until passing 292 turning final. We can then go down to 3,500 feet. It's quite steep this because of the terrain. You don't want to be any lower here, look. Remember, say 6,600 feet. speed brake. Yeah, the thrust spooling up. So it should be going to path now. Sorry, retard idle. I was wrong. Path and idle thrust descent. Sort of thinking about it. I wasn't staying in FMC speed. Interesting. Oh well. So, Climb, I think you've already seen the pics videos of my custom mod to the throttle quadrant. It's not pretty, but it works. Yes, I know you send me a lot of emails to Incline, but honestly, in a week I probably get 30, 40 emails. A lot of people making dedicated requests, asking questions 7-3. I simply can't reply to all of them. So if I have emailed and I had a look, I probably have, but yeah, I only can reply to. I just don't have the manpower. Hello, Sasha. Welcome. Second sector, just about to turn final or long final into New Caledonia, Nouméa, the capital.
1,000 to go.
Checked. So we can step down after Tosam to 3,500 feet. We just want to make sure we're in a mile before we step down. We are. So 1 mile coming up, 3,500 feet set. Bring up MCP cap here. Hello, Captain Midwest. Hey, 7-3 question. When you have fuel in the centre pumps, do you turn them on during start or when doing the before taxi check? So yeah, if you've got fuel in the centre tank, you look at how much you have first. If you only have a small amount, sort of less than 500 kilos, you probably actually want to leave the centre tank pumps off until probably 10,000 feet. The reason is you can get some nuisance master cautions on takeoff rolls, such as master caution fuel, which makes you do a rejected takeoff prior to 80 knots. So yeah, during the before taxi flow, during the setup, if it's sufficient fuel, so in excess of, for me, about a ton, I've turned the centre tank pumps on. Well, on final. Alarm 4 lock. Localizer live, localizer capture. Just going to do a right turn then, just to insert localizer. Runway heading 108 set. So, arming approach. We're 21 miles out, and the glide slope is alive. We're going to keep descending here, and we'll reduce the speed on the vertical profile using VNAV. There's no real SOPs we have at my operator restriction-wise regarding localizer, glide slope. You can arm approach if you wish. Typically, outside of 10 miles, it's outside of the sort of operational coverage area of a glide slope. So you might get a lot of scalloping. So generally speaking, unless you're doing a planned auto land Cat 2, Cat 3, you know, where the ILS is protected, I usually arm approach around 12 to 15 miles, sometimes a little earlier if it's, you know, high workload. If it's fine, I'll probably wait till about 10-12 miles. Yeah, in order to save time setting the minimums on both PFDs, some people use the date to change on the overhead. Is that allowed in real operations? Officially, no. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's, you can quickly copy information from either PFD, ND using the control panel switch. Both on 2 and both on 1. You shouldn't really. Swim climb. No, that's a sent American and Canadian round the middle. I think they should send a Brit. Again, me, along as a professional pilot that can fly like anything. What, me, Artemis 3? What goes checked, passing 3,500 feet. We can step down to 1,800 feet. VNAV has done a very good job here in the mod. But now we're approaching just 1 dot here. I'm going to use vertical speed. That has expanded the display just to place myself onto the glass. So approaching 10 miles. It's slowing down. It feels very slippy in the mod at the moment. A little slippier than I'd expect. Not far off though. It's very close to what it needs to be. So speed check flat 1 match speeds. Within a dot. Safely arming approach. Flat 5. Yeah, flat. It doesn't seem particularly. Oops, wrong way. Doesn't seem particularly draggy. It is a slippy aeroplane, but not this slippy. This feels like short field performance slippy. Glide slope capture, missed approach altitude 7,000 feet. Set. Let's keep an eye on the speed here. Oh, a little bit of speed brake. Plains MD11, that's a completely normal question to ask, fully understand. However, running the channel for almost 10 years, I have an agreement with my operator. I'm very fortunate to be able to run this. I choose to remain anonymous just to make my life as easy as possible. Yeah, slippy. Really slippy. So when you're on an ILS, it's a really nice rule of thumb. You know, 200 knots at 10 miles, 190 at 9 miles, 180 at 8 miles, 170 at 7 miles. Try to keep to that speed so it doesn't get too difficult to maintain the energy. Go flap 10 now, speed below 200 knots.
2,500.
And then I can get ready to start a speed brake, approaching 4 miles. That's worked out quite nicely. Now the drag with flap 5 and 10 is pretty good, but with this headwind, I'd expect it to ground speed being that much slower. It's probably a smidge too slippy at the moment. Anyway, speed brake stowed, and I can arm it for the approach. There we go. Oh, you know what? It's lovely and calm. No traffic. Disconnecting. Let's do a raw data for you. Okay, idle thrust flap 10's holding the speed quite nicely. Watch that rate of descent. To be fair, this is another thing that I just disconnected. The nose started dropping. It was perfectly in trim. The autopilot should have left it perfectly in trim. There we are. So back onto the glide slope. Gear down. Flap 15. Match speed. Just going to use this down here. This is where it gets very difficult single pilot. Start switches, continuous, recall, check, speed brake arm, green line, landing gear, down 3 green, order brake is set to 3, holding flaps, flap 30, match speed, VRF plus 5. So about 1 degree, 57%, 1 degree being the attitude, thrust about 57% to maintain the speed. Probably a bit more to do. Flaps 30, green light, lights on, checked complete. So looking at the glide slope, smidge low, so pitch up slightly, aim for around 500 feet per minute if you're low. On the glide, once you're back on glide slope, reset that attitude back to around 1 degree. There you go, back on the glide slope, reset the attitude 1 degree, small changes, and that's going to help with my speeds. Look outside now, keep the runway at the same point of the windscreen. Keep her in trim. Pretty much there. A bit more thrust than I'd expect, guys, with the mods. We are quite heavy though, 64. Yeah, maybe a little bit too much thrust. Flat 30, 65. Some glide slope you see is getting high, but I'm looking outside. Actually, you know what? Pappy's showing high as well. I was too busy messing around with the speed. There we are. So 1,000 feet per minute if you're high, but no more than that. There we are, vertical profiles recovered. Too busy looking at the thrust, which is unusually high.
100.
Checked. The same techniques you use in real life apply perfectly in the sim.
Minimum.
Continue.
200.
Switch low now. It's a weird slope on this runway. Here we go. 2 butters hopefully.
50, 40, 30.
Check.
20,
Nice.
10.
Oh, this one. Great landing though. Whoa! Speed breaks up. Those really derotates now. That was 8 times harder than my last landing. 100 knots. Manual braking. 80 knots. 60 knots cancelling reverse. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to New Caledonia. No butter. Oh, great landing. I'll take great landing. Not a -20 though, guys. Yeah, the nose. That happened on the last landing and the last few streams in the mod. As soon as I touch down, the nose is smashing down. The real aircraft doesn't do that. Yes, it derotates, but it really just boom. It's at the moment. It's like the elevator just stops working. I don't know, it's a few little quirks right now. A few little quirks with the mod. Anyway, here we are. What a lovely outing we had. I can't remember what stand we started on. I like to always on 2 sectors, you know, sort of finish where we started if we've done that. I think was it Papa 2? I think it might have been over there. Yeah, we'll go over there. Alright, perfect. Let's do the cleanup. Flaps up. Trim. Yeah, the trim's very... Usually it's about 9-10 units after landing with flat 30-40. It's already at 5. It's working really well. The mod's working beautifully at the moment, and for you guys flying the aircraft from A to B, you're going to really enjoy it, as I always have done, and I have done today. There's a few little things I've noticed, you know, a few little things I've noticed, but
Minimums.
You know,
Approaching minimums.
the automation autopilot's pretty good. It's been very slippery. The pitch is good. Bit chat to check at 30 feet there, because it was very and we're quite heavy to be fair, 64 feet, 64 tons. Oh gosh, 64 feet. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I don't think we started on this stat, but never mind. Anyway, we've got the gate guidance on. 738, nicely lined up. APU's booting up. Still many cleanup actions. It's a bit uphill here. Yeah, there's a bit of a slope with this terrain. Going backwards, I think. Still wants to go left. Really? Yeah, this is too slopey. So I'm naturally doing what I do in real life, so closing the thrust because I'm going fast enough, but it's uphill here. Like massively uphill. Now it's saying slow. Ah! Oh, you're joking. In real life, I'd probably be like, yeah, that's fine. Stop. Okay, perfect. Yeah, look. Look at the attitude. I think you won't find one that's as steep as this. Look at this. It's ridiculously up slope. Like parking brakes set. But you can feel that. You can feel that in the physics in the sim, because it's up slope. I'm setting thrust, closing it, expecting to roll to a stop, and instead I'm stopping prematurely. But this shows you it's pretty cool. Right, 2 blues, red, edges dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to New Caledonia, the territory of France. French territory. Oh gosh, my geography in these parts of the world. Terrible. Doors to manual cross check, NT reducing. Checked. Full shutdown. Out of 2000. 2000 standby. Fuel full shutdown. Fuel pumps off. GPU on bus. Off. All pumps off. Window heat off. That should be done in the taxi and float. Electric hydraulic pumps off. Verify the N2s below. 20% on engine 1 and 2 checked. Anti-coal off. Close your flight on New Sky. See how you did. There we go. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Beautiful. Another $14,000 in the coffers of Alpaca Airways. Awesome. Lovely 2 sectors that was, and 3 hours for 2 sectors. That's really good going for a. Usually 2 sectors are around 3.5-4 hours, but that just shows you short sectors, no ATC. We actually had some great ATC from Conti there in Port Vila, but it just flows much nicer when you're on your own. But I will always look out for those group flights and some events to take part in. How did Zibo rank me on that approach, I wonder? Let's have a look here. Home, fuel weight balance. Great landing, great approach. Alright, 1 less star, 8 out of 10. We'll take it. Fantastic. Henry, it's a fun flight, but a lot of morning haze. It was. I wouldn't recommend doing it at that time and those sort of conditions, but it was a very fun approach, the one into Port Vila after Sector 1. I'd recommend that for sure. Juliet Rotor MD-11 received a major update through Skunkcraft, so fixes the flight model, plus adds SimBrief integration. Would be lovely if you take a look at it. Juliet, that has been requested last stream, and we talked about it today. It is on my to-do list. So yes, I will look at that hopefully before the end of April. Well, certainly before the end of April. So yeah, I want to try this brand new overlay as well on my next stream, which we were talking about all day. So that's only available at the moment in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The developer Gadget FPV, who you can check out on YouTube and Twitch, is making it compatible with X-Plane via XPUI PC, but it isn't working at the moment. So at the moment, I will have to use Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'm quite like to try that as soon as possible. So yeah, lovely approach. Zibo mod at the moment. I haven't spoken to Zibo for a while. It's workable. It's fine to fly online and play with. A few little things then. Bit too slippy. Flight direct pitch bar is very slow to react. A few little quirks with VNAV, but overall very good. It flew both the non-precision approaches we did today very accurately. Oh no, we did an ILS just now, but the approach onto the ILS was good. So yeah, look, fine to use, and like it has always been, requires a little bit of patching here and there just to tidy up, but it flies really nicely. Pitch and roll felt good, flare felt good. Apart from the derotation I know is a little bit too fast, but yeah, really, really nice. But yeah, there we go. We'll call it a day. What a lovely, fun little evening we've had. But thank you very much for everyone that's joined. We can, of course, do the replay now. Welcome on board the Lonely Cat Project. Thank you very much for your subscription. I've disconnected from VATSIM. We have funky replay music. There we go. And let's have a look at this replay. I should really do... You know what? I could do the replay all the way... No, because that would probably break the sim. I'll do it here. It was far better, a cooler landing and approach. Let's have a look from here. Crank up the volume. Awesome. Yeah, it's down. Look how massively downslope this runway is. The runway was falling away from me. That's crazy. Yeah, you can see, look. Checked it. Probably a switch too high. Yeah, that'll do. I had to jam the elevator up to stop the nose wheel from smashing into the ground as well. You can see it, look, I just caught the elevator. If I do it in slow-mo, look at that. Just turn it down here for a second. So the nose wheel was derotating really quickly. Just too quick, it was going to smash down. I absolutely shoved the elevator. If you look at the replay from the cockpit, the camera, I put the elevator up really quickly and just saved the nose wheel from smashing onto the runway. Let's have a look from the tower. Oh, tower's miles away. Let's not do it from that view. Do it from this sort of pad. You can see the slope there. It's definitely something not quite right with that. So there's the mains. Nose, and I just caught it. There we go. Sweet. Well, there we are, guys. Another live stream complete in the Zibo Mod 737. Great fun. Put it a little bit further back on the approach. Something like that. Perfect. Well, there we are, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to another live stream in XP12. It's been a while since we've flown the Zibo mod publicly. It's working just fine. Hopefully a few little fixes, patches in the coming weeks to tidy things up. But once again, thank you very much for all your support. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you on another live stream very, very soon. Cheerio!